Baturdays. Baturdays. Omnidog in the Minister of Comics. Talk forever, get right your ergonomics. Taking questions from the chat. With a name like that, you think they talk more about the bat. Baturdays. 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 In the BatCave.
Hello, everybody. Thank you and welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to Omnidog's Vault, Baturdays in the BatCave, where I have two esteemed guests tonight. What's this? PG-13 Carl is making an appearance. That must be one of your friends, Carl. Is that?
It is. Yeah. There's another Carl in the art collecting world, Carl Choi, and there's a long story, but it's he's referred to as Triple X Carl. And they did a there's an called Amateur Dueling Dealers. They do it on the Comic Art Live channel, and they did a their episode that he did was the 30th episode that he appeared on. So, but they do it in Roman numerals, so it was XXX Carl.
Oh.
And so when you put that into a YouTube live, the attention that it gets from anybody on the outside. So yeah, so he's referred to as Triple X Carl, and then I'm family friendly PG-13 Carl.
Good. I'm glad we got family friendly, Carl. Family friendly Bunk Master B. He has a family. He's friendly. He's Bunk. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Good. I would say I am family friendly some of the time. Last week I was on Cliff on Comics.
I heard about that.
We went for 4 hours until 1 a.m. locally. It was cocktails with Cliff, and that was an experience that I have not had with other streams. But happy to be back.
Kane loves your Green Ranger mug.
Oh yeah, that's actually today. I just took this off because it's way too hot. But I, for Free Comic Book Day, was rocking my favorite hoodie, which is my my Green Ranger hoodie, because it is, of course, 40 degrees and raining here in Cleveland, as it is at all times. But yeah, a lot of Green Ranger vibes going on. Got a lot of compliments with it.
She loves that hoodie. So William Lee, welcome.
That is exactly where I came down from.
Game 7.
Yeah, right now we got Nuggets versus Clippers going on. It has been the best series of the first round. William Lee is probably very, very happy that his Knicks ended up beating the Detroit Pistons the other night in the best series in the Eastern Conference. But right now, Clippers Nugs is going on.
And where are your Celtics in all this?
Oh, they moved a while back. They were the number 2 seed. Honestly, the East is so weak this year that unless we get a major upset, we don't get the first real series until the Eastern Conference Finals of Cavs versus Celtics.
Okay. Awesome hoodie, Bunk.
Thank you. I'm a big fan.
Remy here. Good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Jean Remy, what are you working on today? We got legs day, we got back, we got upper body. As you lurk in between sets when you're in a rest, I don't want you to mess up your reps. But talk to me. What day is today for you?
Let's see. Adrian, happy Free Comic Book Day. Looking forward to the conversations. Now it sounds like Bunk went. Carl, did you have any?
I did.
I
was able to get away. We had a busy afternoon of t-ball and softball games, and then I was trying to get my kids to go afterwards, but then they got invited to the neighbors had a slip and slide out, so Free Comic Book Day got trumped by the slip and slide. So I was like, all right, well, hey, you go to the neighbors, I'm going to the comic book store. So yeah, I went and got some free comics. Bought a book as well. So yeah, I supported the cause. So,
very cool. Very cool. How about you, Bunk? You went?
Yeah, I got a big old stack, and this is only the stuff I grabbed. I took Milo with me, and actually, so going into the day, I was kind of in a similar situation with Carl, where we were supposed to have soccer, but as I mentioned, it is perpetually 40 degrees and rainy here in Cleveland, so soccer got canceled. We still had a birthday party that we needed to go to, so we ended up splitting up. So my wife took Johnny Rotten to the birthday party, which was outside and cold and rainy. And we went, and my son had like the best time. They had a life-size Bumblebee from Transformers who was like towering. I mean, this costume is like 11 feet tall. Bumblebee is his favorite Transformer. We went, it was, my local shop, and the characters all going up and down. So Batman's going there. They have the local Ghostbusters. So we had a ton of fun.
That's awesome. And I, of course, stayed indoors because my LCS gets 8,000 to 10,000 people where they have to block off the street. The police block off the streets for Third Eye Comics. And there is no way. I haven't been to a free comic book day since probably 2015. There's just too many people.
No way. Yeah.
So how are you going to make it through Heroes? Because there are going to be a few people there.
That's a good question. That's a legit question. I went back in 23, and it's so well organized, and they do so much crowd control, and the lines never cross. There's always plenty of room. Actually, it's amazing. I even on Saturday, the way it's set up with artists over. There's people signing on both sides, but the main walkway is completely clear at all times. There were some, there was a long line for Daniel Warren Johnson. That's the first one I got in.
I'm going to be in that line. That is where a good portion of my weekend is going to
go. He is a delightful person. Spends time with everybody. Biggest grin on his face. But yeah, I never felt too people-y for me. It seemed I wandered and never hit. Now Baltimore on a Saturday. That's a little different. That's elbow to elbow. I'm unsubscribing. I've been misled. Where are the tank tops? Speaking of tank tops, here's Cliff on comics.
Cliff, what's going on, buddy? I hope you're doing well.
Welcome, Cliff. Oh, William Lee
will also be going to Heroes. So
who will be? Oh, Cliff. Yeah.
And actually, when I was on Cliff's show, I got a tarot reading, and it was about my Heroes experience, and I am looking forward to it even more than I was before.
That's awesome. Josh Greathouse, maybe.
Yeah, no, that's a skip. That's not worth doing. But speaking of Saturday from Heroes, I don't know if you saw, but Very Fine is actually going to be going live from the center of Heroes, and is going to be doing. I don't know if it's the regular Saturday live stream or if it's going to be a little bit later in the day. But he and Melanie are doing their regular Saturday show, so there's going to be a lot of time to jump in and invade that particular space.
I had not heard that. He's the one that convinced me to go to Heroes Con. He's like, Jess, let's go to Heroes Con. I'm like, okay. So if he has a show and doesn't include me, it'll be fine. I'll just do something else. He's mostly focusing on upper body, focusing on chest, arms, and abs. Tomorrow is the dreaded leg day.
If you are looking for something to mix it up a little bit, my absolute favorite for a change up is reverse curls. If you don't have that in part of your regular, you're going to hit your front bicep head and you hit the brachialis, so you get on the side. Fun way to kind of switch it up. But I'm sure you got your routine. Good on you. I hope we give you good inspiration for lifting.
Brachialis, you're going all next to Maginot on me there. Big words.
That was, I didn't need 3 comments to go ahead and do that. And also, I don't know the history of the brachialis, so I'm definitely not next to Maginotting.
Is Carl's? This is Johnny from Finland. Is Carl's T-shirt a nod to Superman Doomsday?
Absolutely, Death of Superman.
Right, is that a story you like? I've never heard you talk about that.
It's a very small story. No one really talks about it. No one's ever read it, heard about it.
Indie,
Has
very
no
under-
opinions on it whatsoever.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I like the niche stories. Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know Carl, not only is he a big fan, he is actually a footnote in the upcoming Absolute that's coming out.
That is true. I have some art that I supplied a scan for that is going to show up in the book. So
Wow.
yeah.
So first of all, I already own the omnibus, but I'm looking heavily at the variant cover that's like a tombstone because I love those crazy slipcases. So you actually have original art from Death and Return of Superman?
So funny story. I did own art from, so I had a page from the it was Adventures of Superman 497. It's a Tom Grummett and Doug Hazelwood page, and I had it. I supplied the scan to them a while ago, and then I decided to sell it. Because it's a long. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get into it quite yet, but like so. In original art, that page got so it ballooned in value from what I had paid for it, and it got to an uncomfortable level for me as far as what the value was, that I was like, ooh, this is getting like some serious money. So I unloaded that, and then bought a couple smaller pages to kind of
that actually sounds pretty smart.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I absolutely loved that story. It was the, when I started buying art, it was the goal to get a page from the Death of Superman storyline, because it's only 7 issues, and a lot of those pages have been locked up in collections. A lot of them are overseas that have been locked up for a long time. And so I was able to get a hold of one, and I was like, oh, that's it. That's my dream page. I'm done. And then it just kind of, there were some auctions that happened, and the values and the prices just kept going up. And I'm like, wow, this is, and we're doing a kitchen remodel in the house. And I was like, that could be put towards, I like this page, but let's, cash in. So cash out, I guess. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Paid for a kitchen remodel.
Yeah, and the thing is, I know where it went. I went to a friend of mine, so I know it's in a really good home. So all around it just felt like the right move to make. And I'm still buying art, still other things to pick up, but it's just that one got pretty pricey, so it had to go.
Well, and you mentioned that page from Death of Superman, but Jess specifically said Death and Return.
That I still have.
Maybe, not to spoil anything for later, once the nonsense is all out of the way, because we are only 12 minutes into the stream. We are absolutely not even close to approaching topic. But
I was promised that we would not talk about art until far beyond the 12-minute mark.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, but yeah, there's
there might be for Death and Return fans, there may be something that's still coming.
All right, that's exciting. Kenny's super excited for Superman 2025. Everything about the film that's being said so far from the cast and crew, I'm loving that it's going to be a grounded yet Silver Age version of Superman. I am hyped beyond all belief to see that movie. I'm ready to go.
They had me at Crypto.
Exact same as me. As soon as Crypto showed up, I didn't need to see anything else.
Yeah, and the look of Crypto is based on the 90s version of Crypto, which wasn't he wasn't a super dog. He was just like a Bibbo Babowski's pet that he named Crypto. But that's who the Superman Crypto is modeled after. So,
cool fact.
Pretty cool.
Happy free comic book day to you too, Ryan. Here's Comic Boy 101. How's your hand feeling? He fractured his thumb.
Hope you're feeling better. Yeesh.
I did. Good evening from the Netherlands. Oh, here's Belgian Ellen. Can't attend the streaming tonight. Okay. It's great to see you anyway. RVP Cars Ghost. Hey now. Also, I saw James in the chat. Thanks to James and upper management for combining on the thumbnail. James provided the image, and then my wife does the lettering, and I pay them both in love. So it works out for everybody.
Looks nice. I liked it.
James took a particularly awkward photo of me mid talking, and I think he had particular joy in doing so. However, it was from the stream I did with Cliff, and he did not choose any of the most awkward photos he could have. So I guess, you take what you can get.
Well, I'm glad. Ryan Spain, welcome. Oh,
Rocking some Rams right there.
yeah. I hope that's a good pose and not a oh my gosh I effed up pose. I'll take it though. Let's see. Do awesome hoodie. Yeah.
Speaking of that, of your Rams, how does it feel that going into next year you have not one but 2 first-round picks in the Sean McVay era?
Yeah, it's a weird feeling to have a number one pick and to have 2 number ones. So I actually have to actively root against the Falcons, but I will root so that we get a higher pick. Yeah, 2 number ones in the first. That's the first round.
So the Falcons could jump in at whatever pick that late early 20s for another pass rusher after they got a pass rusher in the first.
Well, peace and love to the Falcons. I appreciate the extra first round pick, and the Rams got the tight end they wanted, so that's good. They were thinking. I just read about it.
I know Tyler Warren went to Indy. Colston Loveland went to Chicago. I know Harold Fannin was here for the Browns.
I don't know. Oh wait, I'll ask Siri. Hey Siri, who is the Rams' first round draft? Oh hell, never mind Siri. I screwed it up already. Hey Siri, okay. Yeah. Hey Siri, who is the tight end the Rams drafted in 2025? What? No. Quintez Cephas? Peace and love to him, but that's not what I asked. Hey Siri, who was the first player chosen in
Terrence Ferguson from Oregon?
He's from Oregon. Yeah, I did know that.
Terrence Ferguson.
There it is.
Taken round 2, number 46. Position group that wasn't especially productive, so hopefully they get some good things from him this year.
Yeah, they're ready to slot him right in.
Siri has been replaced by Bunk. Hey, Bunk.
No, absolutely not. No, the entire internet has been replaced by James Abel. I'm just doing my best James impression. Apparently, he's got something better to do on a Saturday night than Google NFL picks, which I don't believe. But that's normally the kind of thing that James would jump in and take care of for everyone.
Oh, Harvey has a question for you as a fellow Clevelander. What happened to Carolyn Johns today? I missed it.
Nothing huge. They didn't bring anyone in as far as like a signing like they used to. A few years ago, they brought in Chris Claremont, and they used to do have big signings coincide with that. They had the big Transformers costume that I was mentioning before, where he's 11 feet tall. They got every title on the free comics docket, so they had 44 titles, and each person that went through could pick 12. They had the Superman print where it's the classic Neil Adams busting through the kryptonite chains set in the Cleveland arcade. They commissioned that as a poster, and they were giving those all out, and the artist was there signing.
Nice.
Cool.
They had, there was a play area that was set up for the kids. So, we had a lot of fun there, but not the huge to do that it was in years past. Just, 12 free comics. Still cool though. Oh, and
nice.
Carol was there. She doesn't really come out for much anymore, but Carol was there. So that was cool.
Okay. People are talking to each other. Have you? Okay. People talking to each other. People talking to each other. The Other Turn of Superman is one of my favorite Superman stories. It was that first trade paperback I ever got, and own it in 2 omnibuses, and looking forward to the Absolute Edition later in 2025. Yes.
Great story. And I've bought that in so many different every format they've come out with. I'm shocked that the Absolute has not come out yet. Not, I mean, up until this point, that just seemed like a no-brainer to have that be an Absolute. But
speaking of, by the way, that Absolute that's coming out, you were mentioning, Jess, that you weren't sure like if you were going to get it. But I mean, if you do opt to do so, where do you think someone could go and buy that, and especially save some dosh, because that's going to be a more expensive book? How do you think
is
someone
that
could go ahead and
possible?
do that?
That's not possible.
That would be Organic Price Books, where we use my code Omnidog for $2 off. Or here's where you really save money: 5% off shipping 4 or more books together with code OmnidogSit.
Whoa,
It is possible.
That Absolute, that would be crazy money.
Yeah,
That's a big book.
I have 3 Absolutes in my shopping list right now that I'm thinking about from there. That could make a really good 4th Absolute, as could Absolute Red Sun. I may be getting 5 Absolutes.
You'll
There you
still
go.
save that 5%, even if because it's 4 or more.
Right. Thank you for the prompt. I genuinely always forget. James, I do know this Omnidog YouTube 8th year anniversary. Oh, I need to get this on my May 7th. That'll be my 8th year on YouTube. Thank you, James. May 7th. Oh, good. I get an important prescription refilled that day, so I might be in a good mood for that show. Okay, Omnidog anniversary. Yeah, there we go. Let's change the time so I actually am aware of it. Nice. Thank you, James. I appreciate that. I can answer that, but I'll let Bunk.
Please.
It's because he grew up in New England, and anybody that grows up in New England loves the Boston teams. He and I have had frequent chats about the Patriots and the Rams. I don't follow basketball as closely as Bunk does, so we really never talk about that. But we talk a lot of football during the football season. So he is he's a Vermont boy all the way through.
This is 100% correct. I grew up about 3 hours north of Boston. Very, very rural Vermont. So 3 hours was close compared to everything else. So Boston, you're my home. I lived there for a little while. And that was always the place growing up that you'd go down and you'd head out. So even though I've been in Cleveland now for going on 6 years, this is going to be where I'm going to be long term. This is my home team. This is who I grew up with. The Red Sox came into town this past Sunday, so I got to go out see Guardians versus Red Sox. I was not very popular as the Red Sox won 13-3, so I was very happy about that game. My buddy that I went with, and I think the rest of the people sitting in our section were not so happy with me.
I get it. Oh, Brian, was it my asking your Siri? Because mine gave me nothing even close. It gave me some wide receiver that I'd never heard of.
Brian Siri already knew all about Terrence Ferguson, and it was giving stats, what round in fantasy you should take him. Brian Siri gave all of that while yours was still trying to figure out.
Brian, I got a new phone too. Siri's supposed to be all up to date. Let's see. It feels better. Good, dude. Good. I'm glad. How's your dad doing? Let's see. And James with a blanket statement, I don't care about sports.
That is not true, James. You care about Liv Morgan an awful lot.
That is true. He kind of has you there, James. eBay Superman 2025 Superman and crypto. I need that crypto plush is what I need whenever it comes out.
Were you able to get the pre-order? Because I know you missed out the first time that the pre-order went live for the McFarlane crypto.
The plush?
No, what didn't you the action figure or the Supergirl? There was
that was this one.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah. I did miss out. I missed out completely. And because I never, I don't particularly hold McFarlane toys in high regard. I have a number of them. I think their Superman face sculpts are across the board crappy, and they could at least try somewhat harder. Their Build-A-Figures are utterly lame. Hasbro's Build-A-Figures for Marvel actually fit together and form a figure. These things, I have like 3 of them, and they're like set on top of each other and can't be moved, or they'll just all collapse into 6 pieces. So that's my way of saying I ignored this because I thought, it looks cool. I'll wait, a few months. And I guess it sold out in like 10 minutes across the board.
Very true.
I had no idea. And I was on an Omnibros broadcast maybe a month ago, I guess. An NFL dude said, GameStop has it right now, Just. So I ordered it live online, and it came in. So I don't know if NFL dude's in the chat, but peace and love. I am going to pose it in front of the deluxe, and then when the absolute comes out, I will pose it in front of that, and I will own that in every format, just like Carl owns Death and Return of Superman,
including original art format, which is
I don't have that.
Real quick aside about that Supergirl figure. So it's sold out across the board, like in all the anybody who carried it. And I was able to get one in at Walmart. I usually never pre-order anything at Walmart, but I was able to get one in there. And then I got an email that there was a truckload of them that were apparently stolen. And I got an email. Yeah. So
you were a victim of that?
I was a victim of that, but I was able to, they popped back up on Amazon briefly. I think it was Amazon, but I was able to get one. So
I
finally,
I heard about that theft.
Monday or Tuesday. Yeah. And I mean, I think it was that one. And there was I think the Killing Joke Joker figure, I think, was part of that heist, which is nuts. But yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you got one pre-ordered.
Yeah. And also another side. I figures I have plenty of them, but the Superman sculpts have been terrible. The face sculpts have been McFarlane have been terrible. I don't have any of them. Except there's a Silver Age one that's coming out soon, and that one looks really good. That they finally got a decent looking Superman figure out there. So
okay, good.
There's like a comic version one. I think it's listed as Superman Silver Age is the title of the figure, but it looks really good.
There is one good sculpt, but it came as a 2-pack with Bizarro, and it's a good face sculpt of Superman.
I know that one.
Yeah, it's in my bathroom display. That's where I keep the scary stuff. That's where because upper management, my wife, doesn't like the way Bizarro looks, hates Harley Quinn, and all the Joker Who Laughs and Little Robins and Robin King, they're all posed in my bathroom down here, so she never has to see them.
Yeah,
she has to see Harley everywhere, though. I'm not hiding her. I mean, come on. Would you like to say what you got specifically, Bunk, for Free Comic Book Day? And Carl, do you have that with you?
I do. I have them over here.
I'd like to hear what you both got. I know that there was a Fantastic Four X-Men book that I thought looked interesting.
So most of my attention was there for getting stuff for my son, who was actively there in his 3 and is every bit a 3-year-old boy, and also getting stuff to bring home to my daughter, who was doing the party duty so that we could do this. So I didn't put the most thought into it. I kind of just sort of grabbed as I was going. But the one book I know I wanted to pick up and I had to grab was the Power Rangers Prime with the VR Troopers preview on there. So it has been noted I am a little bit of a Power Rangers fan. Prime's the current series that's coming out. I'm still not entirely sold on it, but they're doing an interesting thing where VR Troopers, which it was another Saban brand TV show from the 90s, they're incorporating this into it, but they're like the peacekeeping force, and so that's almost like they're kind of like the bad guys, and so now they're going to be getting their own series that'll tie in and this is kind of the preview. So I wanted to see what they were doing with that.
Nice.
I know nothing about this, but Post Malone put out a comic called Post Malone's Big Rig. That and the cover was all I needed to be like, yes, I need to check this out. It's by Vault, who like Vault doesn't put out comics anymore because they were using Diamond, and Diamond doesn't do that. And it's Post Malone's Big Rig. Like that, I need to know nothing else. And, like,
I'm
sold.
I'm super sorry I didn't get it in time, but Post Malone had a really good looking Oreo cookie come out that had salted caramel, a shortbread side, a chocolate side, and salted caramel filling. It looked really good, and they sold out, which is probably better for me, but I still wanted to try it.
That's why you always got to pre-order your limited release
Oreos,
McFarlane figure, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, or an Oreo. You got to put that pre-order in.
Same level of priority.
Post Malone is. I know what he looks like. I think.
Did you watch the first Spider-Verse movie, the Miles Morales one?
Yeah.
So you know the song that Miles is like listening to on the headphones at the beginning, where he's
I don't
like
remember. That was a Post Malone song?
So if you go back, like he's listening to it and he's going, and like Miles is trying to sing along. He's like, needless to say, I give a say she was up. And it's like the whole thing is like he's going through his world, and like you're seeing it like through his, and you're sort of like going through. Post Malone was the one that did that song. It actually, I think, won a Grammy or was nominated.
Oh, I have the soundtrack from that movie. So maybe it must be on that.
I would imagine so.
I will definitely check that out because I wanted his cookie. So, which sounds weird.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a sentence I don't know that anyone's ever said before.
Yeah.
Post Malone, I want your cookie.
I want your cookie, man.
I kind of regret it. I feel that being clipped right now by James.
And then just kind of speeding through the rest. Again, another one I knew nothing about, but it's through Vault. Def Leppard Hysteria. Like, it's a Def Leppard with these colors. I don't care about anything else, but like you get the pinks, you get the electric blue. It's Def Leppard doing hair metal stuff. I'm there. I'm done. Like, I'm all about that. IDW Horror Sampler. This was not a free comic book day one, but my shop was giving them out. This is one of the Bad Idea books.
Oh, yeah.
From the creator of John Wick. They bought like 500 copies of these and said, like, this isn't a free comic book day one, but it's the 0 issue. We think this is going to be cool. So here you go.
I've been reading about that.
The Fantastic Four that you were talking about.
Cool.
Because I guess they are coming out and renumbering or something.
Shocking.
What?
Can you believe
Universe?
Oh, good.
Sampler, which the only reason I grabbed is I saw Mouse Guard on the front of it. I'm hoping it's a new story, but also might be someone you recognize there, Jess.
Is it Plutonian?
It's the Plutonian.
Ooh.
So I assume that one's like not new things. It's just sort of like, here's a bunch of stories, like check them out, and I'll be like, oh, I've already read these. Thundercats, Powerpuff Girls. Again, that was one I felt like I could read with the kids, but also like I think it'd be fun.
Love Powerpuff Girls.
Energon Universe. Daniel Warren Johnson has a jazz story in here. I haven't read it yet, but I was like told, like as I was going in, one of the guys from my shop was like, "Grab that one. You need that one." And then not lastly, Godzilla, the New Heroes, IDW, looks cool. And then an all-in absolute special from DC. So I kind of just sort of like anything I was like, I don't know, that looks like that could be cool. I'll check that out.
Lou and I went over the top 13 comics as the article was from IGN, and it was like the top 13 comics. And you got a bunch of them. I'm especially interested in how that FF X-Men one was, because it's a retelling of when Giant Size X-Men first came out. It's a retelling of who the hero was that turned them down, turned Professor X down.
Cool. Great, that's all good. Everyone knows.
Okay,
that's where it's at. I feel foolish for not even seeing that one.
Yeah,
Oh, Carl, what are you doing?
There.
I failed.
But,
I failed
I
at
mean,
everything.
We already know that you got an inferior stack because you don't have Def Leppard's Hysteria. But what do you have?
So I've got a couple repeats from you. I have the DC All In special. I saw the Superman stuff, and then the Absolute Universe is interesting. I actually recently stopped reading Batman and Superman, but it's good. It's just I don't need all the individual.
Stop reading
issues.
monthly. This
Right,
is not
right,
an
right.
indictment that you're
No,
jumping
I'm
out
not.
completely,
Yeah,
but
I just
trade waiting as opposed to pulling monthly.
Yeah, for sure. And then I focus primarily on stuff for my kids. I got the the Iron Man and Awesome Friends.
Yep, the kids stack up. These, by the way, these are all not the kids ones.
This is just my stack because I didn't get a whole lot of some of the I'm not anti the big two. Those are not things that I'm super into reading right now. I feel like
while watching wearing a Superman shirt.
yeah. Well, that's what I was just going to know. So I feel like I mean in many ways. Not that I am closed-minded to think that there aren't good stories that are going to come out soon or in the future. I feel like I've read my favorite stories of Batman, Superman, and all of that. And there's just so much more going on like the independent scene that I find much more engaging. So I just the big two stuff I didn't really target. So except stuff for my kids, like there's the Superman good guy gang. I know nothing about it. With my kids in comics, I don't want to like push hard and like say, oh, you got to read this. I don't want to force anything on them. But if I just have things around for them to discover, then I feel like that's maybe the best way because, I don't know. They won't necessarily think it's cool if I'm like, you got to read this. Like, no, I don't. But then that Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures.
Yep.
This one looked interesting. The Hulk Teach. I have no idea what this is. I was like, I'll grab that. And then
also not Hulk Teaches or Hulk the Teacher. It's just Hulk Teach. Yep.
Yeah.
I looked at that one. I was like, am I missing a word or letters? Is it like no? It's just Hulk Teach.
You didn't say he's a good teacher. You just Hulk Teach. And then Transformers, the worst bot ever. Again,
got that.
I didn't read much about what was going on. It just looked like, anything to get my kids.
That I like that they put out both like an Energon like adult oriented one, but then also they're like, hey, we're also going to put out like that one. If anyone didn't see from Carl holding up, is very like all ages, like kids friendly. It had the green band for the age range, like meaning like this is a kids appropriate title. So I got excited about that.
It's about a ballpoint pen transformer. So it's like
that actually sounded interesting to me. I saw something about a ballpoint pen transformer, and I'm like, transformer I could get behind. That sounds fun.
Worst bot ever. First appearance of Ballpoint.
Okay, Ballpoint is my hero. I want Ballpoint.
And again, I love the fact that it's like they're leaning into the comic thing where it's like the arrow pointing down. It's first appearance of, but also right above it, worst bot ever.
Yeah.
Listen, this is probably not something you need for like your Transformers collection. This is going to spike in price. I got it, whatever. But it is a first appearance.
This needs to be slabbed right away. I mean, this is like college money. All right, so and then just stuff I grabbed a couple things. Star Wars is another one that I have no idea what's going on in Star Wars comics. Not that I'm going to jump on, but I've been watching Andor, and I heard that they're going to do some Star Wars comics set after Return of the Jedi, which not that they've not done that before, but it's just like their latest version of that. And I'll keep tabs and I won't read it just because whatever, but I'll check it out just to see what it's all about as far as probably like online, not necessarily like reviews and stuff. But anyway, also I got the Godzilla that you picked up, Bunk, the new heroes. It's like I said, a new ongoing from IDW. Godzilla is everywhere. I mean, it's like DC, Marvel, and isn't he doing Power Rangers too? Like, aren't they doing I think I saw somewhere where they
just finished the second one, which weirdly is written by Cullen Bunn. But yeah, they just did.
Oh yeah, the second one. Series. Yeah, there's a ad in the back of this one. That's why I was like, that's where I saw it. But yeah, but then the IDW is doing their Godzilla versus America, and the new IDW ongoing Godzilla. But like, yeah, everyone's licensing Godzilla.
Godzilla versus the Marvel heroes that's going on right now. They just did Godzilla versus Spidey. After doing Godzilla versus Hulk, they did Godzilla Skate or Die, which I can't wait to check that one out.
Yeah, even in here in the IDW and the free comic book day thing, I think they preview 3 different Godzilla stories or something. It's Godzilla Escape the Dead Zone, and Starship Godzilla. Those are three stories that must be like the Jason X version of like, you know, the Godzilla in space, like they did with the Friday the 13th.
Oh, I just assumed that this was the next iteration of Jefferson Starship, and then Jefferson Airplane and all of that. Then just the next one was like, how do we get bigger than Jefferson Starship? Starship Godzilla.
Yeah. So, and then the last one I picked up was just the Energon Universe special, because that's what I'm really into, the G.I. Joe and Transformer stuff right now. And I did read, this is one I read pretty quickly, but the Jenny Warren Johnson story is really good. It's nice. It's a great story to be in this kind of issue. So yeah. And then the G.I. Joe stuff is exciting too, because it's starting to do a little more crossover with Transformers and cool stuff. And actually there's I don't know if I want to get into super spoily area, but there's a other 80s toy property that is teased in the pages of the Energon special book. So pretty cool. So
go ahead and spoil it.
Mask. The Mask, the like the little, you ever MASK, it's I forget what it's like, Mobile Assault something, but they were a toy line in the 80s. There was a cartoon. The figures are really little, and then they had these vehicles that were kind of tricked out with all kinds of various tech. But it's a Hasbro property, and the main character is Matt Tracker, and Matt Tracker appears in this Energon special. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And there's been a history of Mask, of Matt Tracker. They did a G.I. Joe figure of him years ago, I think in the 25th anniversary line or something. Actually, there was a collector club line of figures that they did for G.I. Joe, and they did a Matt Tracker figure. So that property is kind of crossed over before. And there were rumors of like what else could they put in the Energon universe, and Mask is one that came up. People kind of thought, hey, that would kind of fit, with kind of cool techie vehicles between G.I. Joe and Transformers. And so I guess that's in the works. So
very cool.
And then the other thing I picked up was I bought the Transformers.
Nice. You went with the Autobots cover.
This is I'm sorry.
Is that
this is
on there.
Yeah,
okay.
this is Starscream. It's the Decepticon, the direct market variant cover. So,
nice. And is that the DWJ Transformers?
Yeah, the first 12 issues of the series, of the Skybound series. So, yeah, I love this book, and this is the singles, the trade paperbacks, and now the deluxe books that I'm buying. So
that's a good looking book.
Yeah, they really are. And there's the regular cover is an Optimus Prime book. Optimus Prime cover by DWJ, and it's a sickness, but now I want that one too. It's just,
I mean, what if he puts out a direct market and it's Beachcomber?
Then I will buy a case of them. Yeah.
I did buy outside of my weekly poll. I did also for my daughter grab. They were huge fans of the Junie B. Jones books.
Oh yeah.
They are, I don't know if they're doing the whole series, but they adapted the first book in The Stupid Smelly Bus into a graphic novel that was done with the blessing from Barbara Park's family. We read through the first 2 chapters. I brought it home, and it is delightful. Like, first off, she was so excited. She didn't know it existed. She was like holding it and hugging it. And then we took turns where she read a page, and then I read a page. And
I thought you took turns hugging it.
I mean, that after she goes to bed, I'm just gonna steal it for myself and hug it
under the pillow. Yeah,
but yeah, it's been delightful.
My wife and daughter, when Kelly was that age, I guess they had a whole thing going where my wife would do all the voices, and Junie B. Jones got referenced throughout everything we did, and it was part of our world for quite a while. So I definitely connect with Junie B.
So my daughter's kindergarten teacher, when she graduated kindergarten, she got her a Junie B. Jones as a graduation girl, which is the one where she finishes kindergarten. So everyone in the class got that. She read that one with her, and she absolutely loved it. And then we found basically like an audiobook version, but it's like a podcast of just like this woman just like reading, and like you can hear her like holding her baby and crying, and she'll just like stop, and like it's super lo-fi, like it's amazing. but she's got this really intense Southern drawl. And so ever since we started listening to that, when we read Junie B. Jones in our house, everyone's real Southern. So she's Junie B. And the B stands for Beatrice, but she doesn't like Beatrice. She just likes B, and that's all. And so like everyone is like all going through there. So that's been a whole thing with us. So yeah, we are definitely in on the voices.
Nice. Yes, it was actually your voice calling my Siri, and he gave me the full Rams draft rundown. You're kidding.
Brian, what draft grade did Siri give the Rams draft? What are we thinking there on it?
What grade did you give it? Yeah. The DC Base Puncher Superior is amazing. Yes, it is. I saw Very Fine Condition had put out a video on DC Finest Superman Family. Do you know anyone with more history with the content? I assume you're actually talking about me. You must be, because those are the books I grew up reading. I have a absolutely useless trivia knowledge about all of those kind of books, with Jimmy being the turtle and Elastalad and Porcupine Boy and Wolfman, and I think some Lois Lane books were in there too. That is a book. I don't think I have it yet. I did order it, but I don't think it's come in yet. If I'm reading this correctly, that means Smothering Lion, you would like me to do a video on it, so you actually get somebody with some knowledge about the book, right? Is that what you're saying, Smothering Lion? Okay, I'm going to assume.
I believe that is what Smothering Lion is referencing. But yeah, I actually I saw Very Fine do, or technically Dom, do the overview on that, and I think the subtitle is like The Turtle Man or something like that. I didn't really have much of a history with Jimmy Olsen and the rest of the Super Family until this book, then fell in love with him. And sort of when I went back and read Fourth World after this, I had like a new appreciation of the beginning of that with Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen and when he's meeting the Forever People. So I very much plan on picking that up. And not to end the nonsense, but start there. But James did bait me into buying another version of the paperback that Steve Lieber autographed and did a little Jimmy Olsen remark in.
Oh, cool! I love that book.
I think I've mentioned on here before, but anytime I am waiting in line to vote for typically the presidential election, but any election, I always bring my copy of this book with me because I get so angry just like waiting in line and just like kind of the state of like politics at any given time. And just reading this, it's like, I can't be angry. I'm just so happy and laughing. And it's like, by the time I get up there, I'm like, okay, let's think rationally. Let's go ahead and do this. But I always bring this with me when I'm in line to vote.
Good strategy.
Nice, yeah. Good
Yes.
coping mechanism.
I wanted his cookie. Chess Bragg 2025, and there's James with the cookie.
Yeah, you know that got clipped somewhere. That's already on.
Yeah.
That's
probably yeah. Jewish Dragon.
I owe you a message back.
I somehow managed to hit 2 comic stores today and not get any of the free comics, only paid for ones. Oh.
Sounds like you did free comic book day wrong then.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, Jewish Dragons also buys original art.
Jewish Dragons absolutely is an original art collector and has some fantastic pieces.
One of those crossover guys. Yeah.
Young Jedi Adventures also has an Avatar story sequel to Samurai Momo versus what the hell? Ronin Appa. What are you talking about? Ballpoint figure when? Yes, I will buy a ballpoint figure when it comes out. I totally want the worst Transformer ever, and I want it to be a working pen.
Ooh.
I do not want to get that for my son then, who loves Transformers, but I am absolutely not getting him a working ballpoint pen toy.
Phenomenal. Thank you. Don't forget to smash that like button. Yes. Oh, Jim explained what was in the book. I'm trying to get Omnidog to do the video because I'd like to see it. Yes, I have the book. Yes, that's what I thought you were going for, Smothering Lion. And Jim was nice enough to tell you everything in it, which Lois and Jimmy, Action Soups. Oh, and Superboy. That's right. I will do that, Smothering Lion, and I appreciate it. I will actually let me write that down with my ballpoint transformer pen, which should be. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Where's? Okay, just.
I am not. I would not.
I will give Smothery Line credit for this. I think I just got a notice that IST is sending me the book. Yes, I have the book. Superman Family. Okay. Thank you, Smothering Lion, for the vote of confidence. Okay. There's supposed to be new mask figures this summer.
Synergy.
Renee Spawn, hello, friends. Getting ready to watch the Canelo fight. So just want to drop in and say, oh, dear, what?
Renee's a buddy of mine.
Okay.
That's how Renee says what up. He leaves that in most of the chats that he goes to, and oftentimes the people don't know that, and they like start reading it just like you do and go, "What?
Whoa.
I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to read that. Why
Heavens.
That took a left turn.
Renee's also going to Heroes, so I'm excited to see Renee and tell his wife what a terrible human he is online.
Southern Comic Geek, question for Carl. Do you collect expensive pieces of paper with robots on it?
One or two. Yeah, one or two. That's my current kryptonite.
Okay, so Jewish Dragons and Southern Comic Geeks seem to know you. That's good. I read Superman and Batman Family when I was a kid. They're like super comfort food to me. Well, this Superman Family is this is the early Silver Age stuff, not the Bronze Age Superman Family and Batman Family. Just so you know that there's a difference. Batman Family would be like a 50-cent comic that would have the main Batman story and then a Batgirl story and then a Golden Age Batman story like that, and a Robin story. And same with Superman. Do you know what I'm talking about, Jewish Dragons? Did I explain that properly? Or I know I suck at describing things, especially when I'm on somebody else's show and they say, "Oh, sell me on that book," and I'll be like,
"It's good."
Yeah, get it.
Comfort food, and I just started thinking about dinner, and I already ate a delicious dinner, but now I'm hungry again for some mashed potatoes and gravy.
Those classic, yes, Brian, you're right, and I think this is the only way we're going to get them. If they continue collecting them in the DC Finest format, I will be eternally grateful. Me too. I think that's the only way I'm going to get Sugar and Spike, Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane. And I feel like that's the only way I'm going to get the unrecolored, unretouched Neil Adams, Denny O'Neil Batman. I thought that because of the rate they're putting out those Silver Age Omnis, I'm not going to be around. I'll be taking the dirt nap, as they say, because it's going to take them 30 years to put them out at this rate. Wonder Woman's already up to like volume 3, and we were still stuck on number 1 for Batman and Superman. I didn't mean to bring the whole room down, but I mean, come on, DC, the clock's ticking.
The clock or the Swatch watch?
Both. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to this too. The crypto looks so odd. I forgot that he had that original design. It's like straight from the 50s, and I can't remember the artist, but yeah, Crypto definitely was an odd looking mutt originally. Yeah, that's coming out this month. The only original art I own are my 7-year-old nephew's drawings of a series of breakfast food related heroes that he created. That actually sounds cool. occur. It sounds reoccur. Rising Phoenix, welcome, Jess, sir. Still waiting. Can we expect the reading order for Red Sonja and Batgirl? I'm also waiting on the woman of Marvel and DC. You were going to let us. Wait a minute. What? Whoa! Wait a sec.
Sounds like you're being committed to a pretty
This sounds like a lot.
backlog of videos here.
Yeah.
I think I don't.
Jess, are you also still working on that Power Rangers reading order video for me that I told people I was going to do, and then you said you'd do for me?
Yeah, right.
Jess is
Yeah.
actually doing the Bunk your best of 2024. Jess is working on that.
Perfect.
Solid guy.
I reading order for Batgirl. It's possible I said that, but I don't remember saying that. And Red Sonja, I was going to make a where to start with Red Sonja. That could include a reading order. I will put them in reading order, but it's really the Red Sonjas are fairly standalone. I don't know that you need a reading order. For Batgirl, we're going to have to pick a time period. Because she dates back to 1967, and there's no way I can do no, I can't do a reading or a Batgirl. I'm sorry, Rising Phoenix. I am going to do where to start with Red Sonja. I love Red Sonja. I really want to do that. Also waiting on the women of Marvel and DC. You were going to let us know origins, powers, what we should read, etc. Are you sure? When
Carl, are there any videos that just promise you that he's going to do for you as well?
Yeah, he said he was going to do the complete encyclopedia of every character from. I was like, all right, go for it.
I'd say that's something I would say when I was drunk, but this is my 17th year sobriety month, so I don't think I was, and I don't think I was high. I don't think I was either of those. I can get excited about things, but I don't. Feel free to talk to me in Discord about this, Rising.
Was this a 2016 painkiller, Jess? You promised?
I will have you know that was 2018 when I had my hernia surgery, and that is when I was awake all night from the pain medicine, and did not know that I had bought the Batman Omnibus by Loeb and Sale until it came in. And that's when I opened it live on the air and I said, I don't remember ordering this. There was a whole box of stuff I didn't remember ordering. Yeah, good call, Bunk. That's exactly right.
That sounds like a good excuse. I need to figure out how to get on some painkillers. And then like, I don't remember ordering this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say in my 20s, there were some nights that were similar to that, where a few days later it'd be like, oh, what's this? Oh, thank you, past me that I don't remember being.
Venom Spawn just watched Thunderbolts and it made me interested in the Sentry. Is it worth it to read the Sentry? I will only speak for myself. I read the one Sentry book that is in the other room. I can go pull it. I actually liked it a lot. I have read no other Sentry. Have either of you guys read any Sentry?
Sentry's a tough one.
Okay,
Sentry
talk about it while I go get the book.
So Sentry is one of those characters that has sort of like constantly been rebooted and been a lot of different things as time has gone on. And so because of that, there's been a lot of different Sentries that have been different things. And so because of that, actually, like, my favorite depiction of Sentry is, and this is like super, like, very narrow, but I loved the Sentry and Thor dynamic from Jonathan Hickman's Avengers, where like the two of them, like he's putting them as like these warriors and connecting as like sort of these grand soldiers on the cosmic scale as fathers, and of like a people, a nation, and just like that was my favorite depiction. Whereas like I'm not going to get in the weeds with continuity. I'm not going to look at this. I'm going to give like these two characters, almost define them more by their power sets and what that would turn them into, as opposed to all of the twisting and winding continuity changes and things that's happened there. So if you're like, I want to do a read through of Sentry, like start at the beginning and go through here, that's a tough character to do that with. It's almost more like, what's the good Sentry that I should want to go ahead and do that? And Jess, it looks like you're going to show off one of those.
Yeah, I think this is by Paul Jenkins and Jay Lee. This is the only Sentry book I've read. I found it really well. I had no idea about the character. I thought it had super great twists and turns as he's is always talking about fighting the void, and I thought this was really well done, and I enjoyed it a lot. Jenkins and Lee are the one that did some of my favorite Inhuman stuff, so it's got a good pedigree of creators. It's Marvel Knights. This used to be out of print, but I feel like, oh, nice. I think this is back in print. This would be what I would read, Venom Spawn. It's very enjoyable, a lot of fun.
That's the first thing I think of when I think of Sentry. That series, that one, yeah. And
now,
then
do you own any original art from this series?
I do not. I don't. I mean, Sentry's not my. I mean, I read that series, I think, when it came out, and then I couldn't tell you anything about that series. I just remember thinking like, oh, this is fun, and then it's like immediately was out of my brain. So
right,
yeah.
and that's why I was kind of surprised to see that the Sentry was in this movie, but it sounds like it's really fun. I've heard a lot of good word of mouth about this movie.
It seems. I mean, that's the first movie in a long time where I was like, oh, okay, I think that could. Not that I'm like anti whatever. It's just I feel like I am one of the very many that got burned out. And after Avengers Endgame, and then it was like that was like a high point, and you're like, okay, I think I'm good for now. And but this is the first time I was like, oh, I like these characters. I like that kind of ragtag approach to it. And yeah, so it looks
yeah,
it's like the kind of vibe I'm
right dose of humor too,
right? Like genuine humor, and like
yeah.
So.
Here's Saz Murph.
What's up, Saz?
What up, Saz? Are you a fan, Carl, of the Superman and Lois TV show?
So I want to be a fan of that show. I just have not started watching it.
I thought for a second you were going to say, like, I want to be, but I hate it. Wow, that is a take. Everyone I have heard is a Superman fan loves that.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard great things.
Funny.
Oh, yeah. But I just, I'm so far behind on so many things.
Oh, yeah.
And then it just, the more that it came out, now that it's over, maybe I could sit down and watch it, but still, it's like 4 seasons or something. Like, I don't know. That's a lot. That's a big commitment.
I watched the first episode and really loved it, and that was, I don't know, 4 years ago or whenever it came out.
I did watch the first episode, but then I was like, this is nice, but then that was it.
Yeah.
And then I kept seeing some cool things about the 4th season, because it's impossible to avoid spoilers and stuff. We're like, oh, that looks really solid and looks really good, but still haven't sat down and watched it. I'm impressed that I'm actually current on Andor. Other than that, I usually like way behind on any new show that's out.
You are way ahead of me on Andor. I haven't even seen the first season. I forgot there was a third Mandalorian.
Yeah.
There's what's the other one that already got canceled, but I still want to see it?
Acolyte.
Yeah, I still want to see that.
I will say, did you like Rogue One? Did you see?
I loved Rogue One.
You're gonna love Andor. You should watch Andor. I mean, I wouldn't confidently recommend almost any other Star Wars that's come out in the past couple of years, because Obi-Wan was hit or miss. Acolyte, people had different opinions on, and I'm very indifferent to a lot of things. I can usually find something I enjoy from almost any show. But Andor is an amazing. It is the I think the best Star Wars has been in a very, very long time. The way that they're approaching it, the way they're doing it, it's tough to beat the nostalgia connection to the movies. Like originally as a kid seeing those and stuff like that. But yeah, Andor is phenomenal. So
Rogue One was of all the recent movies, I guess, past 9 years, 8 years, I think Rogue One might be my favorite Star Wars. I thought it was, it was completely unpredictable.
it was unpredictable, but we also know where it was heading.
Yeah,
it
you
was
know
crazy.
exactly,
The fact that you know the end game, and it's still phenomenal. So yeah,
Yeah.
I've watched that one so many times, and I've not watched Rise of Skywalker or Last Jedi or Phantom Menace all that often. I would much rather sit down and watch Rogue One.
Here's Matt H. How are you feeling, buddy?
What's going on, Matt?
Live.
Good to see you here.
Juice Drives. I used to read the 70s 100-page books, which might have had reprints in them. That's the Superman family. Yeah, that's the Superman and Batman family. And the ones that Smothered Lion was talking about was, it's just called Superman family, the DC finest. And it's got early Silver Age Lois Lane, Superboy, like that. If you liked the Batman family and Superman family, that's Bronze Age stuff. So I don't know. Wait until my in-depth review where I will tell you all about it, Jewish Dragons. I hesitate to have you get that book yet when you enjoyed the Bronze Age stuff. That Neil Adams Batman Omnibus needs to happen ASAP. I'm even more anxious for it after the Hard Traveling Heroes Omnibus. Nice. Jazz, you said you'd get the lawn done. When can we expect that to be done?
Matt, okay, how are Patty's words coming out of your chat?
I don't have a lawn to mow anymore. Justin been promising me uploading videos. Yes, this is true. 30 years ago. Don't hold your breath, people. This is going to take a while. Oh, dear. James, can you find the video? And he wrote it on a sticky. Oh, dear.
Those must still be at the old house.
You're still discovering those things you forgot you ordered. You're right. Loyal Subjects is making mask toys and have stated they will be available for pre-order July 1st from BBTS.
Cool. They're fun. They're a fun line of toys. The original ones. I had a couple of them.
Good enough for me. The Sentry. I'm going to get it. I think you'll enjoy it, Venom Spawn. Yeah, there's some super intense storms headed this way too. I was worried about this broadcast, but I think it's going to hit afterwards. So I had
it here just a little bit ago. It was kind of crazy. I'm just outside of Philadelphia. So
okay.
And I'm going to be in Philadelphia next weekend.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Good, Venom Swan. Good. A name change is imminent from adorable to immortal Omnidog. That's what I need. So I can read everything that I own. I need to be immortal.
We're supposed to read everything?
I don't. I have only read 20% of what I own. And my wife keeps saying, and yet you still keep bringing books in. And I'm like, yeah, because I might miss them otherwise.
I was told this is all just wallpaper.
Expensive wallpaper.
I mean, clearly that would be some amazing wallpaper. Let's be honest.
That's right. It's when we get to talking about the original art. I can't wait to see some of that wallpaper.
That's expensive wallpaper.
Yeah. Here's a good comment from Adrian. I saw Thunderbolts this morning before hitting the LCS. It's the first time in a long time. First time in a long while that I've left the movie theater genuinely happy with the experience.
Cool.
I'm so glad to hear that, Adrian. I'm excited to see it. I'm seeing it next week.
Adrian, I love the Uncle Scrooge as the avatar. That's great.
Jumping into the
love it.
Pool of gold.
I can't tell. Is it a Parks or a Rosa? I think it looks like Don Rosa, but I can't quite tell. I love the Don Rosa Uncle Scrooge comics.
What about my adventures with Superman? Whole show genuinely sparked joy.
If it has come out in the past, see, my daughter is 8. If it's come out in the past 8 years, chances are I have not seen it.
See, my daughter's 34. I don't have that excuse anymore.
But still, yeah.
Yeah, I just did.
There's so much. It's just so much. I mean,
Yeah. it's been an explosion on television of stuff to see from every. I'm not. I don't want to get into the whole streaming service thing, but like every streaming service seems to have a bunch of things that we want to see.
It is very true that the amount of options is crippling in the sense of when you go to try to watch something, and at the end of the night, I'm usually kind of tired and I don't really want to. I want to watch something, but then I get overwhelmed and I end up watching nothing. Read a comment or something.
It's they have a word for that. Something paralysis. It's like
decision paralysis.
Yeah.
You get overwhelmed with all your choices.
Decision paralysis.
Decision paralysis. Okay, yeah, and you end up watching nothing or reading nothing.
Or I'll put like a comfort movie on in the background and
put The Office back on.
Yeah,
Parks
and Rec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kenny loved Rogue One. Matt Age, favorite part of Rogue One was the characters of Trit and Bez Malbus.
Nailed it.
I do check Discord every day. Nothing goes on in my Discord though, so I just pop in there and nobody's talking to me. I'm just like, okay, everything's good.
You heard it here first, folks. Everybody go in and start spamming at Omnidog anytime you want. Every time you put it on, just at Omnidog, and then he won't be able to say that no one is paying attention.
I don't think that's what I said.
That's what I heard. James, pull the clip.
AS is with us. Good to see you, AS. Freddie is leaving us. I'll be back in time for the topic, maybe. Perhaps you will be. Carl, I'm your New Jersey neighbor.
Howdy, neighbor.
Actually, Kane, I was going to ask you. There's a restaurant here that we were going to go to for breakfast that has it does have pork roll in it.
Taylor pork roll?
Yeah, Taylor. Yes, Taylor pork roll in it. Will I enjoy the sandwich as much here as I would in New Jersey, or do I have to be in New Jersey to really experience the Taylor pork roll sandwich, even if it's made the exact same way? Because I'm fixing to order that when we go to this restaurant. Went to see Amateur. Was good. What's that? The Amateur. What movie's that?
I do not know.
Me either. Let's test Jess's memories. Do you remember when you said if you ever meet me in person, you would buy me a milkshake? No, I don't remember.
Well, that's the thing you said. You're going to owe James a milkshake because he announced publicly that he is going to Heroes.
Oh, James is.
James is.
All right.
Yeah,
man, there's a lot of
contingent. Yeah, I mean, Carl's like the only man on the internet who's not going to Heroes.
It's true.
But that does sound like something I'd say, and I'm happy to buy you a milkshake, James.
James will absolutely like clip it, and it'll you'll see it. And
yeah.
I'm not going to deny this. I'm certain I said it. I would be happy to get you a milkshake, James. You do so much for my channel, and I really appreciate it. So, yeah, a milkshake is the least I owe you, but it's the most you're going to get.
Much easier than producing videos. Just buy a milkshake and get off the hook. Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
If I buy you a milkshake, will you make all those videos that I promised and haven't made?
Nothing goes on in the Discord. It's pretty mellow, my Discord. There's always halls and libraries and what are you reading? And so those are always good. There's an insane, it hasn't been insane lately, but when it got started, it was an insane one. There's a chat with, let me see if I can remember all the people. Beyond Comics from New Zealand, Crisis from New Zealand, Cliff on Comics, James, Omnibo, me. Okay, that's 6 because I know there were 8 people in it. Omnibo. Well, I guess I could cheat and go to the Discord, but Cliff, Crisis, James. Oh yeah, he's announcing that he's going to be there. Nice. Crisis, James. Anyway, that's like the biggest thing that's happening there that involves me. Everybody else talks to each other in a low key way, and you go into these other Discords, and it's too much going on. Just too much going on. Whatever you said, Bunk, James agrees with you.
Most people do.
That checks out.
This is a good question. I would say I like streaming series with 8 to 10 episodes. I fell off watching Flash because I just could not wade through 22 episodes a season.
I think it depends on the format. So if it's something that has an ongoing continuity, the 8 to 10 I think is the sweet spot for where I'm at right now. But if it's something like we were talking about that you can just watch one independent of the other, like a Parks and Rec, like something else, like, you know, like The Office or anything that's just, or, you know, I Think You Should Leave, like all of those, I just want as much as like I can get. And it's just like, I know that I always have those going there for it. But even something like A Man on the Inside, the new quote unquote, at this point, it's I think over a year old, Mike Schur and Ted Danson show, that was like a great, you know, like can work standalone, but it does have a through line. And I think that was 8 or 10, and it was like the perfect length. And I'm very excited about watching the second season, where if it was one season 20 to 23, I would absolutely have to like fallen off and been like, wait, what happened? Oh, I have to go back. Let's just watch Parks and Rec.
That was such a surprise of a good show.
Oh,
I really enjoyed that show.
Wait, what show is
did you
this?
watch that? A Man on the Inside?
No,
I definitely told you needed to watch that.
I'm not denying that.
I know
so
you have
good.
your like, you can't put like, you know, you're like, I'm not doing things.
Yeah.
So first off, it's Mike Schur, you know, one of the best comedy creators of the last 20 years. Guy, he was one of the creators of The American Office. He was the one that left that to go do Parks and Recreation. He did The Good Place.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
love
just-
this place.
That was his baby. Like he put that all through. So he brought Ted Danson with him from that to do this. And it's a show about sort of the lives of senior citizens and sort of the loneliness that they can feel when, you know, a lot of the rest of their other through lines in life have sort of left them behind, but then the communities that they form on their own that like sort of the rest of the world doesn't see. Like it was funny, it was heartfelt, I cried, it was like all the things I want.
A Man on the Inside.
So good. And I Bunk can say things much more eloquently. I can't even say the word than I can. But yeah, I agree with everything you just said, because that show, it was such a great surprise. So
What streaming service is it?
It's on Netflix.
Netflix.
So the basic premise is they're like a woman thinks that her mom, who is in an assisted living facility, is you know, someone is stealing from her, and like her priceless you know, things are getting stolen. And so she hires a PI to like investigate, but the PI is like 40, so she can't like investigate an assisted living facility. So she hires Ted Danson to go into the assisted facility and be her man on the inside.
and he himself is a widower, and he's dealing with loss, and his daughter has said, hey, Dad, you need to kind of get out, you need to kind of re-engage with the world. And this is his way. He sees a classified ad, and he gets he kind of becomes a part of this community at this senior living home.
I'm getting goosebumps as we're talking
It's so
about
good.
it.
Really?
It's touching. It's such a good show.
Well, my wife worked in assisted living.
Patty will love it. Yeah, if Patty, it'll get her in all the feels.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get her to watch Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, that's really good too. But
I think we that's one we've watched. So my wife is doesn't like anything that is like super tense, very you know, and we just can't watch any of that stuff. So there's a lot of things that come out I just end up not watching because it doesn't, you know, we can't watch it together. So and I'm not going to make the time to watch it on my own. But Only Murders is one that we really enjoy. I think I haven't, the last season we haven't watched, but yeah, and then that Man on the Inside we both really enjoyed.
And I like my wife doesn't like anything too dark.
No,
True
you're fine.
True Detective was too dark.
We watched that, and I still hear about it. Like, you know,
yeah,
like the guy in the gas mask. She's like, "Remember that guy?" I'm like, "Yeah, I remember." Don't worry, we won't watch all.
I still haven't finished season 1 because we dropped it like halfway through. She was like, "I can't take this."
Yeah.
Okay, here's the answer. It's the atmosphere of being in a New Jersey restaurant diner that makes it delicious. You will enjoy it the same way you do now. So long as you are in South Central NJ, calling the meat pork roll is acceptable. If you visit North New Jersey, the meat is called Taylor ham. Well, I'm having it with you, Kane. Where are you?
This is a legit thing.
Yeah.
There's a huge rivalry between North and South Jersey, and it like whenever like someone makes a despairing comment about New Jersey, they're always like, "Oh, you're thinking of South Jersey," or if they live in South Jersey, "Oh, you're thinking of North Jersey." It's like New Jerseyans are the most racist people on earth, but the race that they are racist against is the other part of the state.
Well, it's part of my short-term plan, and I actually do remember this because I was at some point I'm going to go visit New Jersey or whatever somehow, and Kane and I are going to go out to breakfast, and we may even have planned lunch too. I can't remember, but that will be part of our experience. Hey, Jaggernaut from the Great White North, welcome.
Duval. Jaggernaut will get it and appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got
it. You should attend one day. Yeah, I do want to go to the Superman Museum in Metropolis. I definitely do. Oh, here's Batmanda. Welcome. Good to see you, Batmanda. Well, this is a completely subjective question, but Carl, who do you think is the better artist, Daniel Warren Johnson or Dan Mora?
I bet I know.
I mean,
oh, does he know?
Well, I love both of those guys, but I feel like Dan Mora is kind of like he's like the current house style for DC, and which is great. I love his art, but Daniel Warren Johnson is more of like a fresh voice, I think. Still, I mean, even though he's been in the industry for years now, but both are great. I mean, I feel like that's an impossible. Their stories serve different purposes. Their art serves different purposes. So, but I own Daniel Warren Johnson. I don't own any Dan Mora. So,
oh, you do own some Daniel Warren Johnson.
I do.
Nice.
But mainly Dan Mora. I don't own Dan Mora stuff because I don't really read a lot of current DC comics. And that's by design. I mean, I'm kind of glad I don't. I do like his work, but you got to draw the line somewhere. So,
Carl, if you ever wanted to read more, it's on Hoopla.
I got to get my Hoopla fixed. Damn it! I've been saying that since September.
Just go find a library down there, get a library card, and then just come on back and then hook that up. You'll already be out of the house at that point.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. That's the whole thing. Is like
my library card expired.
Right. And I know that you're saying like you don't want to go out of the house and you have to go out there. So at Heroes, you're already going to be out of the house.
Oh.
So you're already
I didn't hear the Heroes part.
And Charlotte actually has the biggest children's library in the country. Really, really cool setup. I don't know if they're on Hoopla. Also might be weird to go there without a kid, unless you're bringing junior management. And I think they might look at her and be like, I don't think that's quite what we, but super cool space.
Oh, that's good to know. Well, I kept it in Virginia, but I had to go to my county doesn't do it. So I had to go to the neighboring county, and it's 45 minutes away. So that's 44 minutes and 30 seconds. I don't want to be out of the house.
But think about how many minutes you'll spend reading on Hoopla.
I know. And even worse, they've cut it down to only 5 borrows.
Oh, yeah. Mine gives 30.
30?
Shut up.
Ours
does 5 as well.
Register.
Come on out. I mean, you were at Canton not long ago. We're just right up the road from there. Go back, go see the Football Hall of Fame again. Not much else to see in Canton.
Yeah, I really didn't see anything else.
I didn't even know that more than 5 was an option for Hoopla. Now I feel incredibly cheated.
Me too.
I thought that was standard, and then it's only by talking to other people that they're like, "Are you kidding me?" So
30 is insane. It used to be 12 here, but 5 is so penalizing.
Because then it's like do I want to waste a borrow on, you have to like pick and choose, and then by then it's like the decision paralysis again, and you just log off, like never mind, I won't borrow anything then. But yeah,
I mean, if the state legislature has their way, they're going to slash our library budget. So I'll be right there slumming it with you guys soon enough.
If the worst that you get is they slash your hoopla.
Oh no, they're trying to do a lot of other things.
Yeah,
it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But, that would be something I could live with. It's
everything else is
not that kind of stream. That's why I have Jimmy Olsen here for moments like this when I have feelings.
I get it. Batmanda was under the weather today, but her parents were kind enough to pick up a few issues for you on Free Comic Book Day. Nice.
That's what this parent did for his other kid who couldn't make it. So love that your parents did that for you, Batmanda.
Only Murders is awesome. I watch with my dad and wife. It's dark humor. That's okay.
It's lighthearted.
Give the 4 seasons a try. It came out this week and was very good. It's on Netflix. Okay. Javi says, hey, y'all. I'm currently watching Y'all and AEW Collision with my grandpa.
AE-dub. AE-dub. AE-dub.
This sounds like a wrestling thing.
You would be correct. It is the big competitor to WWE. I actually last year I went to I think I went to more AEW shows than I did WWE, but I went to SummerSlam, and that's like the big one. But yeah, AEW is awesome.
Okay, good. Kane, Central New Jersey doesn't have South or North against her. She's right in the middle.
Yep. So neutral. No. She's staying out of that fight, which is smart.
Yeah,
although she says, "Bunk, I take great offense," but you are also correct to some extent.
My dad grew up in New Jersey. I still have a lot of family out there. So no offense taken. It's just from my experience knowing and having clients, throughout New Jersey. It's just like every New Jerseyan I've ever met has very strong feelings about the other part of New Jersey that they don't live in.
New Jersey is so small. Can South and North Jersey really be all that different? Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. That's right. Our GM used to be with the Rams and helped out your GM a bunch. Yeah. Hope he can help the Jags turn it around.
You better hope that Travis Hunter is going to be part of that, because that was quite a haul that went there. But also, that's super exciting, and the NFL is going to be better for having Travis Hunter in Jacksonville than Cleveland, because that would have been terrible.
Okay. And so now we have some Jersey thing. Does Central Jersey compete with both North and South? Depends on the area. Me, not really.
I feel like Kane doesn't really have beef with anyone. I feel like Kane's just like vibing through life, and
yeah,
like, you know what? Like everyone love everyone.
Yeah, she's pretty easygoing. I worked with a guy from New York who complained about New Jersey. He always said those people don't know how to drive. We say the same about everybody else. Yeah, Virginians say the same about Marylanders, and that's true. Oh, Captain Underpants only gets 4 borrows.
Ouch!
That's awful.
Yeah, I only get 4 borrows too. I don't know what everyone's talking about.
Hey, YP. No, I don't. No, because I'm from. I think it's because I'm not in the county. I have to go and personally renew it, and that has just been way down my list of things I want to do. But Bunk's right. I mean, Hoopla's a big benefit. So I need to. What? Your Hoopla's 20.
All right. There we go. I knew I couldn't be the only one.
Oh, here's Batnessa. How are you doing?
Hey, what's up, Vanessa?
Good to see you. Where would you like to start with? It's been an hour and a half. I think we could probably start in on the topic. Now, Carl? I feel like you and I met at Baltimore.
We did, yeah.
And Was that because like Bunk called one of us and had us meet, or did we somehow?
I recognized you.
Oh.
So I got my autograph book out and wanted to, and then, but yeah, I struck up a conversation with you because I knew you were friends with Bunk, and then I was friends with Bunk as well.
Yeah, you called me.
Yeah, because I actually wanted
Bunk
to get
was not there. Bunk was separate.
Yeah, no. I got Bunk's contact information from you, but
Oh,
but to be fair, he was like, Jess was like, hey, let me vet you first. So let me contact Bunk and say that this is okay. Yeah. So it's he did you well there. So yeah.
Yeah, he was like, hey, this Carl guy, he came up
rando.
and like he asked for my autograph, and then he started talking all about these things. I don't know who he is. Is he okay?
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I gave you the thumbs up, and I was like, yeah, absolutely, Carl's good people. Go ahead and share.
Okay.
Yeah, we text all the time now.
Okay, that I do remember.
yeah.
So
Baltimore's like my show. I always go to Baltimore every year. So I'd much rather drive to Baltimore than like New York, or because we're in Philly, so it's a quick drive, and Baltimore is a great comics focused show. So
yeah,
Quick drive, just like Orlando, that you go to every year. Just real easy to get to.
yeah, that's the other one. There's a OAX is an art show, a focused art show that's in Orlando, and that one I've added to my my list as well. So it's January in Orlando. So
and
that in Baltimore.
Have you? How many times have you been to OAX?
Both times. It started 2024. So that was the first show, and then 20. So wait, what is that? What are we in? Yeah. So January, it's January 24 and January 25.
Okay,
there's been 2 shows so far. I actually just bought my ticket for the third one, which is in January 2026. So
I think if Jewish Dragons is still in the chat, I believe Jewish Dragons was there at least this past year.
I think he was. Years. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, it was one of those. Like, I think I found out that he was there afterwards, or it's a short. I mean, short. It's a weekend show, but it kind of just flew by, and I knew that there's the art community is a great. Much like the comics community, but like there's just a lot of people that are just some wonderful people in the hobby, and when I go there to OAX, it was more about trying to connect with fellow collectors, and you can only do so many and have a meaningful conversation with people. So I feel like there's still more people that I want to have some nice conversations with. But yeah, it was an awesome opportunity, awesome experience. So
I'm pretty sure Jewish Dragons went last year because he got me a signed Madman comic from Michael Allred, and Laura Allred also signed it.
That was 24. They were there the first show in January 24. Yeah.
And speaking of the Allreds, they will also be at Heroes coming up. And actually, Carl, you talking about sort of part of the appeal of OAX isn't just like the artists who are going to be there, but sort of getting to meet the people. You're a part of CAF, and like that. Those people that online and putting them there. That's actually one of the big appeals for Heroes for me. Like, obviously, there's an incredible list that's going there, but one of the things I'm most excited about is the fact that like so many names of people that I've known now for years online and have talked to, we're all going to be there and meet up in person, and I'm really, really excited about that.
Yeah, that's an aspect that I don't think it's talked about enough. I mean, it's talked about, but that's where I'm at my stage of life. It's like those are the things that I enjoy. I still enjoy getting books signed, sketches or whatever from artists and shows, but primarily it's the community, it's the people, it's those kind of connections that are that's just where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm excited to go to Heroes this year. So where would you like to start in Carl's collection with are they some of your
so
actually I'll just turn it over to you. What would you like to show?
Well, randomly as we were talking, I pulled out something that is topical to some of the things that we were talking about so far tonight. So actually it's an Allred piece. It's a Mike Allred piece. So I just wanted to talk about
if you were looking at the paper, but Jess's eyes just like burst out when you said it was an Allred piece.
I personally worship the Allred.
I have 2 pieces from Mike Allred, and they're both kind of niche kind of pieces, but they're perfectly Mike Allred pieces. But this one is There's
Oh, it is relevant.
so that is he only drew this is like a piece from 1995, but he only drew the the long-haired mullet Superman once in that era, and it's I love the Jimmy Olsen Turtle Boy look, and the fact that it's just it's like just a perfect piece of that kind of speaks to Mike's sense of humor, and yeah, like that's an awesome one for sure because
Was that a cover or was that done
this
as a commission?
no, this was it's a published piece, but they did it's called the Man of Steel Gallery #1. It was just a book of pinups from various artists, and that was one of them that was featured in there. And
do you have a copy of the actual comic that came
actually
from?
don't. It's one of those things that I look for at shows, but it's such a random thing. I could get it on eBay, but I mean that just seems like I don't know. There's always something else to buy, you know. So, but yeah, I have a like a printout of the color version of that pinup as well. But yeah, it's so whimsical and fun, and that whole era of my spinner rack back here is mostly like personal collection stuff that I had from when I was a kid. And but there is one comic that I picked up later on. It's I forget what number it is of the Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, where it's Turtle Boy by the bridge. And he's kind of like that. I have that comic back there just because I love the Jimmy Olsen Turtle Boy look. And in the 90s when he was portraying the Turtle Boy character, that was like his side gig. That he was on this kids TV show as the Turtle Boy. So this piece is actually it's Jimmy Olsen. It's a billboard for the show that Jimmy Olsen is Turtle Boy on, and it's Mr. Mixter.
I love that
whatever.
Mixelplix.
So he's causing the billboard to come to life, and then it's so it's just such a that's fun. So I do have to. There was one other binder portfolio I was going to grab that is not here in front of me. I think it's like back there, so I'll get that in a minute. But one thing I wanted to just talk about, like when it'll be all over the place because whatever. But I was flipping through the binder that I had in front of me, looking for that all red piece. And when you're talking about some stuff from the Death and Return of Superman, there's things that you see in original comic art that you don't necessarily you don't catch on the page because it's in the background, the way it's colored, things are kind of blocked out. There's details that get lost. And there's this is a page from it's Man of Steel 17, and that is the issue right before Doomsday, his first appearance. And in this issue, that was at the time when the last page of those comics had a Doomsday cameo, like the fist kind of punching through the wall pages. And this comic is it's the last panel it's the same composition as the Doomsday fist, and this bottom panel then transitioned into the Doomsday fist. But what I like about this page is randomly that I didn't know, I never knew until I got the page. Hold on, let me see if that. So there is a John Bogdanov, the artist, snuck a Ninja Turtle into this page, and this group is the Underworlders. They're the kind of mutants that live underneath the streets of Metropolis. But if you look right there, there is a Ninja Turtle that he snuck into the DC comic. So, and then when I saw him at Baltimore. He signed the page for me and also then drew a little. I told him, I was like, yeah, I said,
awesome.
like, hey, I found your Ninja Turtle. And he was like, he obviously had no idea 30 years ago drew this page. And he's like, oh yeah, I did do that. So he's like, I guess that slipped by DC. They didn't see it. But yeah, so that's super fun because those are the kind of things that I think are really interesting and randomly that you kind of discover when you pick up a page. Because I bought it because of the significance of it being so close to the first appearance of Doomsday and having that fist panel on there. And then when I got it, I never knew it until I got it in hand and was looking at it. And I was like, what the heck? And then sure enough, you look at the page in the comic and he's there. It's just those background characters, I think, are all like in a bluish gray kind of single color. And it gets lost. The detail gets lost in there. But yeah, that's really fun. So just in talking about like original art, I started out as, you know, a comic reader, and I collected all kinds of toys and comics, and I got into the art game. Anybody who starts collecting original art will say the same thing, that I got into it late, because everyone feels like whenever they got into it was already too late and the prices were going up. So prices continue to kind of rise, no matter, you know, it's I mean, it's somewhat out of hand because it's just things are so expensive. But I got into it because of I never knew you could buy the original art for comics. It never crossed my mind. I had been going to shows for years, and I could have even like commissions. I never really had an artist draw anything for me. I would have books signed. I would buy prints, and then it just like there was a I'm trying to think the first time I yeah, it's in one of these portfolios somewhere. But the Dan Jurgens was at Baltimore, and it was around that time that I kind of figured out that actually I should rewind 1 second. So probably with comics, probably a lot of people are the same way, where there are pockets of time where I was buying issues and then kind of drop off for a while, and then you kind of rediscover things. Like you come back on a series. There's a I was not buying comics for a long time, and it was the New 52. It was Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder on Batman, and that's what kind of drew me in, because as a 90s kid, Greg Capullo was on X-Force, and then I followed him to Spawn. Like Spawn wasn't really anything that I was on my radar as much, but I enjoyed Capullo's work in X-Force, and then he started doing work in Spawn, so I followed him there. And so to have him on Batman book, that brought me back into buying monthly comics. And I had followed Capullo on Twitter, and he, for the longest time, he never really would publicly sell his stuff. I think at times people would reach out to him and he would sell some stuff on the side, but nothing ever official. Didn't really have a site. And then it was around that time, like 2015, 16, I think it was 2016, he started a website, and he was selling pages directly. And I was like, okay, that I didn't know you could do that, but now I want to do this. I want to buy some original art. And I the way that I approach buying comic art is I'm surrounded by hobby funds. You know, like there's things that I've invested in as far as like toys and comics, and you know, omnibuses. There's I mean, this might be blasphemous, but there are a lot of times where I sold off a lot of big heavy books because I would take the, you know, the money that was in there, the prices, some of the secondary market, the books are out of print. I sold off a lot of collected edition books because I took that money and then turned it into comic art, because I do try to keep it as a closed loop as much as possible, as far as let the hobby fund itself.
Yeah.
So I did. I sold off a bunch of stuff, and I saved up, and I bought a page from it's framed in my house. I don't have it here to show, but it's a Batman and a Bruce Wayne and Jim Gordon page from the 0 year storyline from the New 52.
Wow.
And yeah, I love Jim Gordon. I love the character. I love the dynamic between, you know, Bruce Wayne and Jim, and I also love the dynamic between Bruce and Alfred. Like I love pages that feature either one of those characters with Bruce or Batman. And there's a page that I kind of sunk into. It was, I mean, sticker shock. It was $1,000 for this page, and that was not a lot of people, I think, come into the hobby spending that much on a page. Like a lot of times it's commissions at a show, like for a couple $100 or less than that, or those kind of things. And I just was like, no, I want this page from Greg Capullo, and I kind of targeted that one. It was you know, that was one of the cheaper ones that was available, if you believe that. And I was like, all right, well, that's it. I bought this page. I don't need anything else. That was just the beginning. So, but yeah, and that's what I've done since then. I've sold off a lot of you know, the cases that are back here. I mean, they're crammed now. They used to be even crammed with more action figures, and I would kind of periodically, I still do it. You know, I kind of go shopping in my collection, and I see what's selling for higher prices on a secondary market. I don't buy things to have them appreciate in value and then sell them off, but if there is some kind of equity in, you know, the collectibles that I have, And I decide, like, so what do I want more? What's going to bring me more joy? And a lot of times it's the art, because the art is unique. They're one of a kind. It's not that I need to have something that someone else doesn't have. It's just to have a page from a story that resonates with you, and you can have hold the art, is just such a special feeling. And it's not about not allowing someone else to have it. It's just it's the personal connection that you're allowed to have with a page of art that's in your collection. And so, yeah, so that's I
don't think there's anything blasphemous about what you're doing. I mean, you're not a speculator. You're not grabbing up a bunch of books, keeping them from the public, and then trying to turn a profit. I do the same thing you do. I go through my collection periodically. And if someone wants to give me 3 bills on eBay for some out of print omnibus, I'm happy to make you happy, and you send me the money, and that helps fund the rest of my. I don't have a lot of original art. I just have a tiny amount. But what I use that money for is buying more collected editions. So I see zero wrong with that. As a matter of fact, I'm a strong believer in it.
Sweet. Yeah. It's a way that I got married later. I was in my 30s when I got married, and like late 30s. And, I had many years to amass all kinds of random crap. And there's still things that are in Rubbermaid totes in my basement that I've been selling through. It just feels good to kind of get that stuff out of here, and then put it into kind of very unique pieces. And then in buying art, you kind of go, at least I do. I go in kind of phases of when I started out, my goal was to get pieces and examples from all of the artists that were working on the Death and Return of Superman. So there was those four main creative teams that were on those books at the time. So the goal initially was to get a commission from each of those artists, and that took a while to accomplish. And unfortunately, so Butch Geis was the last one that I was able to get, and that was just a couple of years ago that I was able to finally get him to do a commission. Actually, ended up doing 2 for me, and he, like, so I know he passed away 2 days ago. So which that one, 63.
Yeah, that is young.
Very young. Yeah. And so that one hit, that one hit home, because I was able to set up those commissions with him directly, and I communicated with him over email, and had not that we were like best of friends. I'm not going to claim that, but every time I would talk to him, it was just very, very friendly, very, very a kind man. You can just tell. You can tell the way that people respond in their emails, that like, this is a very nice guy. And I kind of learned some things about him. Like, he's a fellow Planet of the Apes fan. So I was like, oh man, that's pretty cool. So it's those kind of things that, again, much like the meeting the fellow collectors and kind of having those personal connections, the ability to, if you told my teenage self that I was going to have these conversations, or there are, like, Dan Jurgens knows me by name, like I've seen him at a couple of different shows, and that those kind of things just blow my mind. Like on top of like the art or the commissions or whatever, the fact that I have those kind of personal relationships with creators that I admire, there's like, how do you put a value on that?
That's priceless.
So, and I'm glad that I have, pieces of art from them, but then it's also, it's the nostalgic value that I place on it, because the comics meant so much to me as a kid. And then it's the personal relationship value that you put on top of so those are the things I think of. And when I look at those pieces of art that I have, it's the conversations that I've had with the creators. So it's those kind of things that that you don't get from buying Marvel Legends, or by buying all the toys and stuff, which I still buy. Like, I still, like, I haven't stopped buying, action figures, but they just, the art offers a different type of rewarding experience that I didn't know was available, or that could happen. And so that's why I kind of lean heavily on art. Has become the main thing that I buy, because of those kind of things.
Very cool. So you've been in it about 9 years then.
Yeah. yeah, so I started out, I bought those commissions, and then I started buying, published pages. I would get commissions at shows, and it's just like right now. So I was focused mainly on art from my like teenage years, like that kind of like that prime 12 to 14. That's right when I read Death of Superman, so it has stayed with me because I was at that very impressionable age. The idea that the four replacement Superman, that I was just so engrossed and hooked by that story, that anyway. So I bought stuff from that era, and then but now I have been buying a lot more of kind of art from artists, like current stuff, like modern art, because again, it's the networking, it's communicating with these artists, letting them know. I think I'm not as I'm not as shy about reaching out to an artist, or just like kind of talking to them and saying like, hey, I really appreciate this work, like is it going to be available or whatever. I have no shame in reaching out to artists, because they're just people, like they're just human beings, and the idea that to have those kind of connections, again, like it's amazing. You just start off a relationship by saying, hey, I really appreciate the work you're doing. You say why it resonates with me or whatever, and then see where that goes. And if it ends up being able to buy some art from them, great. If not, also fine. So yeah, I would recommend anybody kind of not just, I mean, do some research, because some artists, like like they have reps, like Danny Warren Johnson's rep by Felix Comic Art, so how to you're not going to buy something directly from Danny Warren Johnson. So do your homework, like, and not just blindly say like, hey, can I buy something from you, because you can figure out. And the thing is, also ask questions. Like one of the reasons why I started making videos and doing unboxings of original art is because it's a collecting art is, there's so much to it, and there's so many questions that somebody has, because we all come into it, and we come into it blind, because there's, what do you do? Like, how do you do it? Like, how do you navigate it? So I wanted to be like, if somebody had questions, like I would happily, share my experiences and thoughts on how to go about it. There's no wrong way to collect original art. But there's everyone has their own opinions on what you should buy or what you shouldn't buy or whatever. But yeah, I found that the more you put into the hobby as far as reaching out to fellow collectors, the more you're going to get out of it. So I thought, well, I should do my little part to just kind of be a part of the hobby. So.
And if you look in the description box below this video, Carl, I have created a link for Carl's YouTube channel, and also Bunk's is there too.
And that's, so not to jump ahead or to hijack the stream, but so when I started doing videos, I was looking for other people that were creating content based around original comic art, and I stumbled on one of Bunk's videos, and that's what I was like, oh, this guy's got like a great voice. I love like how he talks about the art that he purchases. I love that it's not necessarily the art that everyone is buying, and to hear those stories as to, and that is not a like, I love the stuff you buy, and I love hearing the stories about what you buy, because that's what's interesting about it, because there's so much art, and it's a hobby where, in almost any other hobby, you can have a complete collection of something. It is impossible to have a complete collection of original art. Like, there's just so much of it. There's, they're one of a kind. So you can't have a complete collection. So hearing the stories of why a certain piece talks to somebody is super, super interesting. So that's why I kind of stumbled upon Bunk's videos, and then I kind of reached out and still was commenting. It's like, hey, I love your stuff. And yeah, so, but that's the more you get out of it, the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. So you get friends, and I love it.
Yeah. Batmanda, speaking the truth, Jess's videos are so fun and chill. This is such a great community. That is what I've really tried hard to cultivate, is just a nice, friendly, fun community. And I'd say I've succeeded. I have a lovely audience that follows my videos, and I appreciate that, Batmanda. I really appreciate the community, the comics community in general, but especially the one that I've cultivated here. Yeah, you missed the whole first hour and a half was tangents, Harvey. Now we're on to the topic. Geis?
Geis, yeah.
Geis' death really hurt. I've been a fan of his work since his Indie Comics days when he was on Micronauts. And yes, I was the one who voted for the cross-gen Ruse Omnibus and Marvel's Most Wanted Omnis. Well, I think that is... you could vote for whatever you wanted to vote on, and I think that that's great that you voted for something you wanted, Jewish Dragons. We were just talking about you, Jewish Dragons. You might have not heard, but you were at OAX last year, right? And that's where you got me the all red signature on the Madman like 3D cover. I feel like that's where you got that at OAX.
So Geis is one that his art. So his art in the 90s, I really, really loved, but he was an artist that just continually got better. And some of his best work was the stuff that he was doing in the past few years. I just pulled out the first commission I was able to get from him is he was drawing Action Comics at the time, so he was doing the Eradicator stuff.
Oh,
and yeah, so like,
oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, and this was like
so black on that. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, and that's you can kind of see with the light shining off the ink. That's the other thing about owning original art and having it in hand is you see the process, you see the techniques, you can see the different brush strokes that were used, and it's just to have that kind of connection to the art and see the process. It's such a unique thing that you just don't get with like other collectibles and stuff. So so this is that was the first one that I had him do, and I got that back. I loved it so much. I was like, hey, Butch, can we do one more? And it was the black suit Superman. So at the time in the story, when in Action Comics, Superman debuted. They had him in the Fortress of Solitude, but he was sitting there. You were meant to think that it could be the Eradicator, not necessarily the real deal Superman. So when he showed up on some of the covers, he had short hair. So as to not tip people off that this was actually, Kal-El. And so the idea was, I said, hey, can you do a piece of him in the fortress, but with the long hair, and then have him, because there was a famous cover where I think it's, I forget what issue of Action Comics it was, but it's kind of like a Who Watches the Watchmen riff. It's who's watching all these replacement Supermen. And in that cover, the Eradicator was not shown on one of the monitors because you were supposed to, think like, oh, maybe that's actually the Eradicator keeping tabs on him. So I said, hey, can you do a long-haired Superman with all four replacements in the background there?
So that was a commission. Was the first page an original art page?
Both commissions.
Both were commissions.
Both commissions. Yeah, and he when I was talking about his process, and he did the like some of the what was it, the Winter Soldier stuff. He was involved in that storyline, and his art leaned more heavily into realism over the years. Like it was definitely more realistic looking in the 90s, but when compared to some other of the other Superman titles at the time, but he kind of kept going in that direction, and his art kind of leaned more into that realism style. And I mean, like I said, his death was such a huge loss because he really was doing like the best work of his career, in my opinion, in the past couple of years. So,
wow, beautiful Geist commissions, Carl. I also think his recent work is amazing. I only collect his post 2000 works. Yes, I was at OAX both years, and yes, that's where I got the All Rights comic for you. That was an awesome gift, Jewish Dragons. Thank you.
Did you buy your ticket for 2026 yet, Jewish Dragons? Because this year I gotta get you on the list to meet you in person, because I feel like I said, I missed opportunities. I met a lot of people, but I still have many more conversations to have, and I'm looking forward to.
Let's see. Cool original art. Harvey was showing some original art on our most recent Omni Bros Patreon stream. Yeah, Harvey's got a lot of original art himself.
Harvey had an awesome page from Deadly Class absolutely love that series. He was mentioning on like one of the shows that he had that, and then he in the Discord he posted it, and he was kind of describing it. I was like, oh, I know exactly where it is. And then it shows it, and it's just love the Wes Craig stuff.
That's a series I need to read that series.
It's
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just read Kaya. I'm just up to date on Kaya now. So
get the deluxes.
Yeah.
This was a series I started digitally, and I got through the first trade, and I liked it. I enjoyed it, and I had the rest of the series digitally, and I was like, yeah, I'll come back to it. Never did. Bought the deluxes because I got them at a stupid good price, and like when I was reading through it, it was literally like reading through it the first time, and there was just like such a joy behind it, and it was just like it was a series I picked up, and I just like I could not put down.
Nice. Yeah,
they're the remender size, so they're the almost absolute. There's like
it's a good looking book.
It's $50 retail for, I think this is like the first 12 issues. It's the first year of almost an absolute. Like it's such a stew, and you can find them for so much.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's
including by using the code Omnidog at checkout at Organic Surprise Books.
That's right, baby.
There it is.
Don't forget, if you're buying 4 or more, get 5.
And you'll need to buy 4 or more because there are 4 volumes of Deadly Class.
Yeah, and then once you enjoy that, you're going to want to get Low and 7 to Eternity and Death or Glory, and the rest of them are blocked. But all the other Tokyo Ghost, all the other
Ear Agent, Black Science.
Ear Agent, Black Science. Carl, I literally just bought my OAX tickets 20 minutes ago, and I have started working out the hotel. Are you not going to Heroes? I have a gift for you, and I was hoping you might be there.
Shut up.
Jewish Dragons, I am going to Heroes.
I can't wait to meet Jewish Dragons. There's so many people that are going to be there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, that's the list is awesome at Heroes. Don't get me wrong. I'm so excited. Like, basically all of my free time that weekend, or con time, is going to be waiting in Daniel Warren Johnson's line and Craig Thompson's line. Anything else I get is gravy on top of that. But the things I'm most excited about are the after hours, seeing everyone and like getting to be, and all the other people around are like, hey, I'm going to this. I'm going to, like, James. When, like, James is just in the next state over, but like, when am I ever going to get a chance to like meet James in person? James is the internet made flesh, and like he will be there.
I don't think he wants that credit. I mean, that's
James is well aware of what he is.
Yeah, Carl,
positive side of the internet. Yeah. So I've always wanted to go to Heroes, but
okay, then do it.
Yeah. Like, all
right, there we go. We figured that out. Great.
Move on. Yeah. But I always feel like Baltimore is Heroes is usually has a better usually a better list of artists.
Heroes has an art auction too.
Yeah. Baltimore has that too, but it's not as big. No, it's not the Heroes auction. But yeah, actually auction stuff I try to stay away from, because I mean, I don't know. I get a little. I mean, it's best if I stay away from auctions.
I know what you're saying,
but
you get caught up in the hype.
Yeah, and I just like, but yeah, because I have Baltimore so close, and it's like a similar style show. That's kind of the. I do try to limit the weekends of I say, okay, peace out, family. I'm gonna go nerd out. So, and you know, so I usually stick to Baltimore. And now OAX, because again, it largely too. I bought my ticket to OAX, and there really weren't the artists they've named so far are great. Which actually, Dan Jurgens is going to be at OAX again in 2026, which is fantastic news. But he wasn't on the initial email of the guest list. But that's kind of secondary. That's a secondary reason for me to go. It's more about, like I've I said, but it's the people, it's the connections, and having those conversations. So I know I'll go, and I know I'll buy art, but I'm looking more forward to the weekend away of meeting up with friends.
Bunk, do you have anything you'd like to show us at this time?
I mean, I've sort of forced you all to look at my original art over the last few years, but
yeah, and I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, but so I guess I'll just sort of piggyback off of some of the things that Carl mentioned. So first off, I am a very particular original art collector, and I'm someone that would not say I'm in the original art collecting scene. Like I'm very much in like this sort of like comic scene, and also I collect comic art. And because of that, I gravitate towards like a very particular page. So in the original art, say like a storytelling page is not necessarily a compliment. It's like a nice way of saying like, oh, cool, you got a lot of panels on that. That's not a cover or a splash, but for me,
Yeah.
I'm like, give me all the story. Like the pages that I look for and I gravitate towards are the ones where it's a story I love from an artist I love that has a very particular style, and like it's at a particularly resonant moment. Like I can look at that and I can feel what I felt in that particular thing. Like I generally don't go for splashes. I don't go for covers because again, like that feels to me like a pinup, and like I'm just like, yeah, I can do whatever. It's like the same reason I don't do commissions. Like I want to feel the way I felt in that moment. And that leads me to go to pages that other collectors might be like, oh well, that's a great storytelling page there for you, isn't it? Yes, yes.
Have fun with that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, eh, and I got some things with that, but Carl talking about sort of like the things that you love with the original art is kind of seeing like beyond the page and like getting to see like kind of what's going into it. And the page that I always think of in my collection comes from issue 5 of the I say recent, but at this point it was like 2 years old, Hawkeye Kate Bishop series. Kate Bishop is a character I love. You put her name on a title, I'm gonna buy it. It wasn't particularly good. I wouldn't suggest anybody go out and check it out, but I still had a lot of fun with it. And the last page of the series is this kind of like look over the city, and it's like everything's gonna be all right, and like you see that there. The coloring on this I really don't like, and what I hate is like look at the lettering, look at those crazy long tails. So much of that image is
Yeah.
taken up. You look at the coloring on the leaves, it doesn't like highlight anything. Like the sunset, like they're trying to go for the sunset with that, but it's like it's fine.
It's so
I-
broken up. Like yeah.
I own that page. And I think it's in this one. Some of us were not prepared. Some of us, a perfect time to have got all of this ready would have been like while Carl was talking, and it's like, oh, okay, here we go.
That's why I'm scrambling now. Like, oh,
now the actual page, like,
yeah.
Oh, wow.
so much more going. Like,
Yep.
there is an actual sunset that you can see that just literally in the page isn't there because of those long tails. Like, you can see that actually coming out. The leaves have just so much more detail and texture that's going there. You can, the girls that are like all there, it's like this beautiful lookout. Like, this page deserves to end a series. What's actually on the page isn't like that, and it's things like that just like you look at that and you're like, yeah, man, comic art is great. Why do we ruin it sometimes?
Yeah.
Another one too.
Even when colors are good, on some comics,
100%.
they're when you look at it in the original format, you're like, whoa, okay, it's a different experience entirely.
Another one. So one of my favorite pages in my collection is again a storytelling page, and it's from one of my favorite stories, Criminal, and it's the culmination of the first arc, which is one that I really love, Coward, and it's at the sort of the crescendo of the series. If anyone hasn't read Coward and you don't want any spoilers, I'm going to need you to earmuffs right now, because I can't talk about this page without that. So I'm going to give a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here. Criminal has been talked to death about on this. So if you haven't read Criminal and you've been watching Omnidog this many years, this is on you. So this is at the culmination of Coward, where we find out, Leo turns out isn't a coward, that he's afraid of violence. He's afraid of himself. And this is where he goes on his rampage. And we have him throwing the Molotov cocktail. And what I love here is you get to see in like the margins and everything else. We're just going to go ahead and take this out. I think that's the easiest way to do this. You can see that, like, in the margins, Sean did a focal point where he blue lined it out like that and continued all the way through. Like, even this building, which doesn't have, we still have our crossing lines that are continuing, like all of the sort of little tricks and trade of everything that you don't end up seeing when it's the final image, where you just see like, oh, cool, like there's all of this. Like, you see all of the layouts, you see everything that got us to where we're going. And even just kind of little things like in the Criminal Deluxes, when you read those, there's like a big margin of like white on the side of the page where it frames it. Like, that's all because that's the way he lays out the page in the original. Like, he's got just these really big buffers so he can play with those right there. And then also you got like, it's like printed there. Like, so many of those things that it's just like, but unless you're like buying the process edition and like you're really trying to get into like the art nerd part of it, like a lot of that you just sort of miss and you just sort of take for granted because the final product is so good. It's like you almost don't think about how it gets there. And there are some times where it's just like, this is a roadmap. And I love, you know, to Carl's point about just like taking your fandom that one step further and like getting to see like behind the scenes about what's there. So
you see like the structure of the page, how it was built, you know, how to get to that end point.
Yeah, it's like another thing too, where it's like buying roughs or like layouts. Like, those aren't going to be anything that you're looking at that's not giving the wall power. You know, that's not even getting the, oh, well, it's a nice storytelling page, but it tells you how you got to that process. And like, those are things I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm gonna drop out for just a second. I want to go get. There's another portfolio that I have that has the bulk of I think some of the things that I'd like to talk about, and I think Bunk especially will also enjoy seeing. So I'll be right back.
No problem.
But I'll grab that because we so in preparing for tonight, we did go out to dinner, and then I was like, we got to be back, and I thought I'd have more time to prepare because there's never enough time.
You
and
always
then I also
when you have your family stuff beforehand, you always think, you know, what that you have that.
My wife was like going to put the kids to bed. And I was like, okay, I'll walk the dog, and then I was like, that kind of ate up my my prep time. So anyway,
no problem.
I'll be right back.
No problem. Okay. Jess, the current artist on Harley Quinn, Mindy Lee, is going to be at Heroes. That's good to know. Thank you.
I bet she'll have some pretty sweet prints.
Let's see. Online auctions in particular are potentially deadly. I nearly bought a $2,000 John Byrne page by accident with one misplaced click. Thank God I was outbid. Wow.
I know that absolute dread that comes with the bid and the, oh no, what have I done? And then you just like sit there like praying, just like, someone outbid me, please save me from myself.
Nice page, Bunk.
Yeah, again, it's from a series like, you know, no one needs to go out and read this series. And like the layout of it, like, you know, because it doesn't have like the character that's named on there. It's never going to be like a high, you know, sought after, you know, picture. But I really liked that. And again, I liked this series. Like I'm the guy that read that and enjoyed it. And the actual, like, if you had shown me like the actual, like, just because if you were like, hey, do you want to buy this? I'd be like, nah, I'm good on that. I don't need that.
Yeah.
But when like presented on the page, I'm like, yeah. Like, and I went back and I was like, man, why did they destroy that?
Wall power.
So wall power is like it's a term that the original art community uses to basically mean like a showstopper, like a dramatic, impactful piece. So again, it's something
Money.
that's going to be expensive. But it's going to be something typically like it's big, it takes up a lot of space. There's something about it that's going to like stop and go there. So that's going to be like a cover or a splash or something. Like there's typically going to be some kind of movement. It's going to be like the character from the series and they're doing the thing. And
the moment of the whole story that is, yeah.
Do I have wall power here with the original cover to Irredeemable 37 with Mark Waid's signature on the original
I would
issue?
say so. I would say
Yeah.
that. And as Harvey says, it's a term that Felix, who's like one of the big forces, like he kind of coined. I've seen it like in other places now. Like I've seen it others. So it's like, I think at this point it's like a generally accepted term. And it's a way to be like, this piece that is selling for tens of thousands of dollars, it has wall power. It's like something you can quantify. Usually, I mean, like there's a certain aspect to that. Those aren't the ones that I tend to look for. Like I like the weird stuff from the weird artists that like it's like like 5 panels, but like the 5th panel is like this size and it's there and it's like weird interspersed and you're kind of like going through. I'm like, yeah, give me that weirdness.
But that's where like the fun stuff is. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Everyone else is like, oh, what a nice storytelling piece. I'm like, it is a nice storytelling piece. Thank you.
There is an aspect of the art collecting community, and depending on there's a lot of money in the art world, and I mean, everyone should buy what they can afford, and what I'm not like faulting anybody for having like big pieces, but there is this kind of sense that like if you don't have and this is okay, this is not, I don't want to get into too much into the weeds as far as like clicky kind of stuff, but like there are people that just focus on things that are going to be valuable. They focus on things that they want those historical moments. They want there are people that buy art because they're speculators, because it's not necessarily that this page resonates with them. It's
right.
that it's going to be worth something. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I mean, if you can do that, and that's like, you want to, diversify your portfolio. If you want to have some pieces like that, that's fine. It's not what I, focus on because I can't focus on that. Like, but I still have, I've put a lot of money, like real money into art. But I think where I'm at now is more in the, I was able to buy some vintage stuff, vintage stuff that I really like, but it's now it's the kind of the fun stuff of seeing the new artists on the scene, the unique. I want to find unique things that I've not seen in comics before, and there's a lot of fresh voices in the comic world right now, and that's what I'm having the most fun doing, is focusing on those kind of things. And so buy what you love, and that's what like they always say, and that's what you should do. And if it ends up being more valuable, that's great. That's
this was the gift to me, the cover to Irredeemable 37. When I was hospitalized in 2019 for pancreatitis for a week, and a bunch of people in a Facebook group dedicated to collected editions went in on it, and my friend Ryan Sace from Wales headed it up, and they all went in on it and got this for me, and I was stunned, and it meant so much to me. And then I saw Mark Waid at Baltimore that year, and I told him about it, and I couldn't find 37 for him to autograph, and I said, if I send you the book with a return envelope, postage paid, would you mind autographing it? And he said, absolutely no problem. I'll give you my personal address. Just don't give it out to anybody else.
Yeah.
And I said, that's awesome. And so there it is.
And then so you have the it was born out of love, a gift, and then you have that connection with Mark Waid. Like it's those things that get wrapped up into when you look at that on your wall. Those are the things you think about. Yes, there's the art, and yes, the art is great, but like, it's the personal connection to the people. And like,
Irredeemable is my favorite comic book ever, so that's why they got it.
Yeah,
for me.
it's on top of that, the love of the art itself. It's the how it came to be, and it's the stories that, again, like those are the things that I love hearing about as to why that piece means so much to you, why that's on your wall, and why why you love it so much. So I love it. So yeah. So I let me see. There was something I was gonna look through here. Hold on. Do we want to talk about our man? Let's do this. I'll do this one first. So in talking about like moments, like comics that like where I'm at currently with what I'm reading and what I'm loving. There's a series, The Moon is Following Us. By Danny Warren
I've been hearing about that. That's TWJ.
Yeah, so it's Danny Warren Johnson and Riley Rossmo, and it's a story about parents who their daughter just one morning doesn't wake up. She's in a coma, like she's in like a dream like state, and you get the sense of the panic in the parents. It's such an emotional it's just two parents wanting to save their daughter, and they get kind of roped into this adventure where they are able to go into her mind, and they go into her dream world, and they try to rescue their daughter because she's just trapped in this coma. And the way they split the art duties, Danny Warren Johnson is the writer of the series, but he draws all of the scenes set in the real world, and then Riley Rossmo draws all the scenes that are set within the dream world. So, and it's a really amazing way they're doing the art split. There are pages that are just Danny Warren Johnson. There are pages that are just Riley Rossmo. There are also pages where they both work on the same page. So Riley Rossmo does all of his work first. He sends the physical board to Danny Warren Johnson, then he draws the real world scenes in that page. So it's just like a really amazing collaborative story, but also it's a story that it came along at the right time in my life because of having two young kids. You don't have to be a parent to love this story, but like if you are a parent, especially of young kids too at that time,
I have not heard anyone talk about this who does not say I am a parent, so it hits extra home for me. I'm sure there are people who are and are enjoying it, but everyone I know who's like, I love this book, it's like, yeah, like I think about my kids and like it hits home.
Yeah, I mean, it's the people that are really excited about the series are I think parents, because it has that extra level of like, oh my God, like this is just it's a ride. It's an emotional ride, and so it's 10-issue series. They're on issue, I think issue 8 was the latest one, but the first trade is out, the first 1 through 5. And it's a good read. I mean, I would recommend it to anybody because
it's on Hoopla.
I was just gonna say it's probably on Hoopla.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so when I started reading the series, I immediately was like, I want something from this because when I talk about, I've read my favorite Batman, favorite Superman, Spider-Man, all those stories. I've never read a comic like this that has hit me like it has because it came around at the right time. Like if I read this before I had kids, if I read this before I was married, before it wouldn't land the way that it does for me personally. But so I do have a page from Danny Warren Johnson, and this is it's from the second issue of the series, but it's the parents kind of coming out of the they have these head apparatus things, and that's what allows them to kind of go into the dream world. And this kind of shaman guy is the one who is kind of telling them, showing them, the way forward and how to help her, because modern medicine doesn't have the answers that they're looking for. They can't really figure out what's going on. So he's providing the answers for them, what they can do. So you see them kind of coming out of the dream world for the first time. And it's this, I love things like this where just everything drops out. Everything, it's just the characters. It's just the moment and the emotion of what's being said. And I
That's
this
gorgeous.
and the thing is what basically what is happening here is they're like, okay, what's in this for you? Why are you helping us? What are you, what's your end game here? Why are you helping us? And it's just this panel, there's a word bubble here that just says, I had a daughter. And it just is like, okay. Nothing else needs to be said after that, because it's like, I think it's like I had a daughter once, or and it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. I understand. Like, I understand what you're going through. I want to help you. So yeah, like those types of things that that is art that would never have really spoke to me until now at my time in life. So yeah, really love that. But I also have a because I got a page from Danny Warren Johnson. Naturally, I was like, okay, well, I want something from Riley Rossmo, right? Like, I gotta because this is the
Makes
collector
sense.
brain, right? The collector brain is damaged. No matter what you're collecting. So you think like, oh,
This is also the man who said, in original art, your collection will never be complete, mind you.
correct. Yeah.
He acknowledges.
But that's another thing that I do. Like, I will do. I do a lot of collection curating. Some people, when they buy a comic art, they say like, look, I'm never selling anything. I don't want to sell anything. But part of the joy I found in buying art is getting your hands on pieces and appreciating them. And then there's like a time that maybe, okay, I've gotten my enjoyment out of this page as far as like appreciating it, having it up close. And then the more people you connect with in the hobby, you realize that maybe this page is better suited in this other collection. And discovering those things are that feels great too. Like sending this page off to a new home and knowing it's what they collect, and maybe it's a better fit. And that's fun too. Like I've had pages from a Jim Lee page from the Road to Metal, like the DC Dark Knights metal event. And I was like, it was a goal when I started to have certain examples from certain artists, and having a page from Jim Lee was on that list. Like, oh, if I could get a Jim Lee page, like, then that would be amazing. So I had it and I enjoyed it. I had it for a couple of years. And then I was like, you know what? I think I have this for the wrong reasons. Like, just to check a box of having a Jim Lee page. It was a great page. I liked that it had Green Lantern on it. He was in the BatCave. It was a way to get a Jim Lee page set in the Batcave without having the Batman tax applied to it, because if Batman's on the page, like, that price is through the roof. But anyway, so I had it, and then I found a better home for it, and I was like, you know what, let's see this off, because but there's some people who would say if they got a Jim Lee page, they would never sell it, and like that's like the he's on Mount Rushmore, and but like you go through these things and you don't necessarily know you don't know these things until you maybe get a page in hand and you think, okay, well, I don't quite need this, but I enjoy it. But you still get to I still have the experience of owning that page and appreciating it up close. So that's all part of the process. So even if you sell something, that's okay, because it's still you're still enjoying the art and seeing and appreciating it up close.
Well, I think that's healthy, because we grow and change as people. Hopefully we grow and change, and sometimes things change. And as you said, I own this for the wrong reasons. Somebody else could be made happy with this. And yeah, I think that's a healthy attitude, to be able to let go of a Jim Lee piece, because in 2 years' time, you had your time with it, and that was enough.
Yeah. And it's a different way to experience the hobby, and I love it. But sorry to go off on that tangent, but I just wanted to show the Riley Rossmo page.
Yeah,
I have. So I guess so. Slight spoilers for the series, but not too bad, because you learn this pretty early on in the series. But so when they go into the dream world, when they go to rescue their daughter, all of the soldiers that are there kind of helping her, this colorful cast of characters, they are basically her toys. So in her dreams, her toys are her protectors. So this is actually based on the character's name's Brio. He, in the real world, he is a stuffed toad that has like a prince's crown on him, and but in the dream world, he's like this Nick Fury kind of cigar chomping soldier.
He
So,
is
but
the best character in it.
absolutely, he's like one of the best characters in the series. So when I was like, oh, I want to get a Riley Rossmo page, I would definitely, I wanted something with Brio on it, because this is them kind of they're making an assault to where the location of where the Penny is, their daughter, and they're trying to go locate her, and they find her. She's in this tower, and then this is the mother, and
Oh,
the over here is the father. So like it's the
cool.
mom and the dad. They have this armor. They're protected by things that are. It's like dream energy. That the power of Penny's dreams, kind of.
That is so cool.
Yeah, like the protector. And yeah, so but actually, sorry, I didn't mention this. So another thing about like when you get a physical page, I'm trying to get it in the light that you can see, but this is these grays are like a screen tone that are applied to the page that Riley Rossmo puts over the original.
Oh.
Art. So just to give it like some shadowing and depth, but that's something that is, it's like a sticker, like a sheet of
Zipatone, like
like Zipatone.
People are still using that.
Yeah, and I love seeing that. When you get that in person, to again, like Bunk was saying, how the page is built, you get that personal connection of like, okay, that's what Riley was doing when you cut these pieces out, highlighted it around Brio, and just those things that you don't think of when you're flipping the page and reading. You're engrossed in the story, because you're not supposed to think of that stuff when you're reading the story. You're supposed to think about what's happening, and you don't want that to take you out. But when you get that in hand, though, again, that's the appreciation that you get more of. You're like, oh, this is amazing how it was built up, how he did it. But yeah, so that is kind of more at where I'm at with stuff that I'm buying now. I mean, I'm also buying a lot of Transformers stuff because I love the Energon universe. But yeah, it's the more you discover, and the more I mean, I'm having a fun time discovering artists and getting those kind of pieces in my collection, as opposed to chasing the more expensive. Not, I mean, those aren't cheap, but the more expensive things that are from like the 90s, at auction, going for crazy money. And one thing about buying modern art that I really enjoy is that the money is going to the artists. I mean, yes, the art reps get a cut of it as well, but I'm supporting the artist directly. So when you buy a page at auction that that a collector that sent into Heritage to sell off, that money is going to a collector that probably paid a fraction of what they're selling it for, 30 years ago, which is good on them. Fine. That's not, congratulations. I love that for them. But I love the fact that now I can support artists directly. And it's another way of connecting with artists, showing the appreciation. If you're going to spend the money, I like it. I like knowing that it's going towards the artist as opposed to a fellow collector, which, I mean, I bought from collectors. That's not, but it's just, it feels better to be able to support artists directly. So
I think that's awesome.
Real quick, I've heard of that series too. I
Yeah.
heard it's pretty good.
yeah,
Oh wow, you both have them.
that is
And
yeah. So go ahead.
our Daniel Warren Johnson pieces are actually from the same issue. So this is when Carl was describing like the parent horror, like this is them finding that she's not waking up. And again, it's just it's like the perspective where it's almost like the camera's looking up at him, like his arms are almost impossibly long at that moment. Like everyone's face is exaggerated, like the horror, the terror, and just like it's like this was the page when I was flipping through, and like you hit that and the penny, and you just get that, like that was keying in. And again, like when I'm looking for a page, it's like I want that emotionally resonant moment. And also just like one of the things, I'd seen this because I've got some. This is the first actual page that I got from Daniel Warren Johnson, but I have some art. Like actually, in all of my videos, you can see this is a print that he did a remark on, and I've got some other stuff. He loves using whiteout, and actually, if you look on their arms, he's actually sort of given some tone. She's got on her thigh, she's got some whiteout and some different places, and it's just like. You don't typically think of that. He's creating some gray effects or through the blacks and going there, and just so many cool that when you're looking at like when I flipped this over, like I was not appreciating the image for like the intricacies at the time. It was the like emotional response, the like heart dropping of a parent finding their child unresponsive.
Yeah.
But-
That's like a
Yeah, we were talking about that when we were going through, and I was like, I finally got one because I'd never been able to hit the Felix lottery before that. I'd always like timed out, and then like I sent Carl, I was like, I got it, and he's like, well, that's really good because I'd feel like a real jerk then, and he like showed me the one he got, and was like, yeah, we both
I
did
also
it.
got one. Yeah,
Oh, you got it at the same time?
Yeah, because the way that Felix does his drops, like it's people complain about the way that the Felix comic card drops work because he reps some really amazing modern artists, and Felix is really great at his job. The job of an art rep is to sell the art, and he is a master at marketing. So he has built up a group of collectors that it's a frenzy. It's like a feeding frenzy when the art drop happens. So it's like all the pages will be available. They just pop up on the site at a given time, and then it's just if you're the first one to put the claim in for it, then you get it. But they're super competitive. And one of the like earlier I think comments that Bunk left on one of my videos was I did an art unboxing for a Daniel Warren Johnson page from Transformers. And he's like, I've tried to get a Daniel Warren Johnson page for so many times, and then you just like try and get one, like jerk. And I was like, I'm sorry. But anyway, so then that's why. Then afterwards, when we were talking about getting Moon is following us pages, it's like, yeah, because I got another Daniel Warren Johnson page. So sorry, but I was happy to see that Bunk grab one too. And
That's awesome.
The other thing about that, and again, so that page is and I say this out of absolute love and respect, but that's a page that I would probably never buy because it's so raw, and the emotion of it is they did it so well. I mean, the art conveys that panic that it's hard for me to separate that parental panic from seeing the page. But I love the fact that it's in Bunk's collection because that's what resonates with him. And
Is that what appealed about it to you, Bunk? The panic that they had?
It's again that emotional resonance.
The emotional resonance.
Yeah, I mean, Josh has joked that like like my art taste is like I'm a sadness vampire. Like I feed off of like existential dread and like terror and like just like people having a generally bad time. I'm like, yeah, that's what I want.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
Put it in my veins now.
So that like that moment, like the flipping there is just like that. I'm like, oh, that's what I want. Like so that in that because with the Felix drop again, like they're all released at the same time, and it's like whoever clicks on and processes that order first, you get it. And so it's like seconds, like everything goes. You need to identify what page you're going for, and like you have that one, and it's like because just whoever the first one is to complete that order, they get claims on it. And so basically you have to know going in what you're looking for. It's not you don't have time to like window shop and do all of that because all of these are one of one as has been mentioned here. So it's like going in, I was like, I knew if I was going to get one, it was going to be that moment.
Yeah,
nice.
And I was thrilled that he got it because again, just felt guilty because so. The other thing I don't actually let me see if I have some Transformers art here. Let me just while we're talking about Daniel Warren Johnson,
okay.
And what Brian's saying here is 100% like not even totally fair, but it like makes so much sense. Like there's so much appreciation like that you can get from like having the artist edition, like you're saying that like you have that and to that point, like the same amount that you're paying for that artist edition is what you'd probably be paying for like one single page and not even like the high profile one. So like that is such a great way for a collector to be able to appreciate the art that's going behind it. So like tons and tons of respect to that. So cool.
And I think something that I think gets lost in the art collecting world is like, I think the more that we buy pages, I think it's very easy for some collectors to lose sight of the fact that this is a very privileged thing to be able to do. Like there's not like, they're expensive pieces of paper, and it's the unique aspect of being able to own that I feel like if you lose that thrill of or lose that connection to as to why you're buying a page, it's probably time to stop buying art, because that's what I want, that the emotional connection, maybe not the doom and gloom that Bunk wants, but but like I want that emotional reaction to opening the page for the first time, seeing it in person. It's like, oh man, like the way you connect to a page for various reasons. Like there's different reasons to buy art, but yeah, I feel like some people lose sight of the fact that it's a very special thing to be able to do this. But I will also say that the people think they can't like afford this, they can't buy art. I will say that it gets, once you decide to maybe sell some things in the collection, it's like ripping a Band-Aid off, and you kind of see like, okay, nothing bad happened because I sold this piece of plastic. I sold this figure or whatever. It's okay. Like it's okay to kind of have the collection be this fluid thing. It doesn't need to be like amass everything, keep it and hold it, and then die with it. Like it's like, because you can't take any of this with you. So it's okay to move on from things. And I think once you kind of start and I'm not not saying sell stuff because you should, but to those that think like, oh, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. I don't want to do it. I will say once you do it once or twice, it becomes a lot easier. So just keep that in mind. So
also, you're saying I should sell a lot of these books and buy original art? Okay,
no. I would,
yeah, that's.
I would not suggest anyone start an original art. Like that's like Carl is saying, like
that's what Harvey says.
Have started and already going. It's like, oh, let me be your guide. Let me help you. But if you're like telling me, hey, should I do this? Carl said, and I think he said it perfectly. Like there's a sickness that goes on here with collectors of like any hobby, and like original art's like one of those. So like, do you want to make yourself sick? No, I don't think you do. Like maybe stay healthy. Like maybe you'll be good there.
And there definitely is the aspect of when you get a piece of art, again, we are sick, but it's like you're already chasing that the next purchase. And like I really am trying to not be in that feeding frenzy of like acquiring art. I've been a little more focused this year as far as like honing in on what I want, and like Moon is following us, Transformers, like specific things. And I've purchased more Transformers pages than I think anyone probably should. But like it's what I'm having a lot of fun with, and I still get the joy out of it. Yeah. And so yeah, I don't know. I mean, people probably would say like that's some collectors don't want to have too much of one thing in their collection because it's they want to diversify, or I don't know, whatever. But
and real quick, off of that point about like the sort of the expensive factor, there's always going to be a cost, but in a lot, I think in some ways this is not as expensive as a lot of people think. Case in point, one of my favorite series is this series called Black Badge. I've talked about it a whole lot. It's Tyler Jenkins, the artist, with Matt Kint.
Oh yeah, I got those books.
Awesome spy series about a group of basically like Boy Scouts that go around the world doing like recon work and all sorts of like undercover stuff as the guise of like, we're a bunch of kids. This is, I was telling Carl, I think this is like, I thought I was done, and then like I picked these up. So this is not usual. Like this is an aberration. This should not be the case. But each of these pages I bought for less than $20, which is why I was
what?
Which is why I'm like, like I thought I was done and I'm not. And that's not a thing that's supposed to happen. But because this is a series that not a lot of people know about, it's not, like it's not a Marvel or DC series. It's an indie limited series that came out. It's from an artist who's not for everyone. I love Tyler Jenkins, the same artist who was on Grass Kings, on Peter Panzerfaust, and done a lot of work with Matt Kint. his style kind of reminds me of Jeff Lemire and Matt Kent, what they're going for, like executed at the highest level, which works so well for me. But it's going to be something that's not for everyone. Again, it's their storytelling pages. There's, their panel work. I love the fact that it's ones that have like the whole roster, that you have the whole kids there doing a fun pose. And again, I just love this series. But if you're saying like, I don't need to have, something from Batman, or, the more you're sort of willing to say like, I like this page for what it is instead of like what it isn't, you're going to be able to find things that are, like fit within everyone's budget. Like, the further you get away from like your Marvel and DCs, the more affordable that's going to be. The artist that not everyone has heard of, or like someone's first work, like it's going to be more affordable. Like, again, you're not going to find 20, like these should not have been 20, but they were. And I was like, well, I guess I'll go ahead and get some more Black Badge.
But even in along those lines, so a $20 page is like almost unheard of. So that's amazing. So of course you should buy as many of those as you possibly can, because why not?
I did.
Yeah, right. But like even perspective of a couple, like if you said, I mean, there are pages from Modern Comics that are really solid artists and art. For a couple $100, you can buy a page. Now that's like a couple, omnis, or if you decide like maybe I don't need these, and again I'm not saying people buy whatever you want and that's whatever, but just to put it in perspective, like if there's a couple deluxe editions of some stories that you liked, but maybe you could read it on Hoopla, not have it in your collection, and then buy maybe a page from that story, or something like that. So like there are ways to navigate this hobby in a financially as responsible as you possibly can, because it's still a couple $100, but we're spending that money on collectibles anyway. So it's just where you choose to kind of park that money. Like there's Faith Aaron Hicks is doing the Universal Monsters Mummy comic, and it's really good. It weaves its way into the original, much like the other Skybound series, like Universal Monsters books. They weave their way through the original films, and the Mummy series is out now. The art for issue 1 is available, and I think one page has sold, and you could get a really beautiful piece of art from that comic for a couple $100. And I think there's some pages at like 200, 250, 300, like somewhere in that range. And it's really solid, beautiful art. So of course it has to appeal to you, and you have to, that it has to speak to you, but it's not as daunting as the flashy, reports you see, like, oh, this sold for $250,000 at auction, or, it's not, or the fact that Jim Lee does a commission for, was it 10,000, 20,000, whatever, that those kind of things, when that is talked about in the comics world, as far as like the people that aren't necessarily kind of hip to or keen to the idea of like what original art costs or what commissions cost, when those stories cross over into like the comics realm, it's like a slap in the face, like, what? I mean, that's how much that is. But then that becomes this narrative of all comic art is that, and that's Jim Lee. If you want to pay for Jim Lee to do a one-off piece just for you, it's going to cost you. So more power to you. But anyway, so there are certainly things out there that you can still have something on your wall, and not feel like you have to then be as sick as me and like chasing like the next piece, which I'm still trying to not do as often. But we all do it in whatever it is, like the books that we buy that we don't read, like no matter what you do, there's still you probably put more money into your collection that you are necessarily getting the value out of it. But I'm just saying, like, there are ways to do this without breaking the bank. So
yeah, 100, like, look at how cool like this is right here. Like, look at these.
Yeah,
like,
that's
these
awesome.
right here. Both of these under $100, and they're like some of my favorite like depictions of it. Like, you have this amazing Jim Gordon front of the bat signal. You've got this where it's the silhouette. You don't actually see Batman. Like, just so many cool things that are going on there.
I mean, just because I'm gonna have fun with you, Bunk. I mean, that little piece is cute. I mean, it's fun. But is it Greg Capullo drawing Batman and Jim Gordon? I mean, is it, so this is just like I love, like I was talking about before, I love Capullo, I love Jim Gordon and Batman, but it's those kind of classic scenes that are really fun. And but that's but the thing is, am I getting more value out of that than the $100 piece that you can get from an artist? Tough to say, because there's people who would look at that and be like, I would never spend that money on a page like that, but like you could still get a piece like Bunk has, and you appreciate it just as much. So you don't have to get into some of the more expensive pieces like I sometimes do, but there's still art out there at every cost, and there's a piece out there for any person who wants something on their wall to have. So
here's an artist that I have original art from, Matthew Mangy. How's it going? Good to see you, Matthew.
What's up, Matthew? Hope things are going well in Vermont.
Nice. So Josh Greathouse, he drew the pieces for you?
Yeah, I was showing this off basically because he's here.
But I love the when Gordon is framed is bathed in the light of the bat signal. Like I love when that's done. So that's like that hits home for me for sure. So I love it.
If we're going down that road, I do also have a BatCave by Rafa Albuquerque.
Nice. Nice.
Rafa, I don't always love his line work the most, but I think he has such a beautiful use of like his gray tones, like the way that he like paints it through. Like he gives everything such texture without going to the actual color phase. Like everything through there, just from really simple brushstrokes, give direction, depth. It's cool that this is the BatCave, but the thing that like did it for me was just like the use of like grays and like black ink.
I love when artists do like ink wash stuff on a page, and because it's like such a delicate kind of what was it, the bottom panel, some of the what is that? So it's just like, is that the like rock wall, or is that a tent that's going on there? What's the?
So this is it's like a little tent where it's like covering over. You can see it.
Okay.
So going through right there.
Yeah.
Like this page has the Batmobile that's in it, but like, is that exciting as much as like the depth of the cave going down there, the folds of the curtain, like the little lines there? Yeah. I don't think so, but I mean, it's a Batcave, so technically, I guess.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, so it's like I thought it was a tent, and I was like, oh, maybe I should. Is it like the wall of the Batcave? But by adding those kind of delicate brushstrokes, you get the definition of that curtain, like kind of the cloth that's hanging over there, and the mood that creates is beautiful. So I love it.
Like again, just like this sort of like empty, somber cave. Like this is from issue 11 of All-Star Batman. No one read the series that far. In fact, most people don't realize that Rafa Albuquerque, that was the one that was Scott Snyder, and then Jock, and then I think JR was on there. Rafa finished that off. Like no one remembers that. No one read this, but it's like, all I need to do is just show you this, and like the mood of that. Like it's this somber everything. Like it puts you in that place.
Yeah, that's the feeling you get out of it, and I love it.
I recommend. Matthew says I recommend everyone go down the original art collecting route. In completely unrelated news, I have commissions available. He's drawn some of my favorite X-women and Harley Quinn.
Nice.
Jess, any other pieces you want to show off? I know you've got some Dorkin stuff. Obviously, you've got the Plutonian behind you, but it's been a lot of us doing things. But I'd love to hear what you have and why you love it. Like that Poison Ivy that you have. I would love for you to that cover that you got.
Oh, the Poison Ivy with
Poison Ivy.
Harley?
Sorry. Yeah.
I would have to go. I mean, I can go get that. This was really more about you guys as the I have a couple of things, and that's really it. But I wanted to hear your guys' passion and stuff. I didn't really want to focus on my stuff, but I mean, I can certainly go get it because I do love the cover. It's from the Eat Bang Kill Tour.
Yeah, the that variant that you have, just like the
Okay, I'll be right back.
Sweet.
I know right where it is.
All right, so it's our stream now.
Yeah, here we go.
Now's the chance for us to do whatever.
Is this the Jesse Larnigan part of the show?
I mean, no, we can't do that without Jess.
No, I know.
But yeah, I was gonna say, we're not getting through without showing off some Jesse.
No.
Speaking of Josh, by the way, he does the comic Bang, the Ballad of the Tiger, among his other things. And in my copy, he did this awesome colored pencil face sketch.
I was just gonna ask what's the media of the colored pencil? That's
and I'm a sucker for colored pencils. Like it. I still have like this huge great affection for the original Books of Magic 4-issue miniseries that set that off, in particular issue 3, and it was heartbreaking for me to find out that it wasn't colored pencil that it was done in, because like the first time I read it, like I had it in my mind that it was like done, and I was like, oh my gosh, someone like did a comic in colored pencil, and like I wish there's something about that look that I wish more like artists use. I realize that it would be much harder, but that doesn't affect why I that I want it.
Take the time and do it. No.
Yeah. Why don't you make all of your decisions around what I want?
Deadlines? Come on. Yeah. I love color pencil stuff, and I really love like pure pencil stuff too. Like some collectors like will want nothing to do with a page that's just pencils, but I love that stuff.
Oh yeah. I have a Michael Lark. Like to your point, I love that kind of like sketchy little bit. I have a Michael Lark that's like inked from Daredevil, and on the other side I have just the pencils from Gotham Central, and it was like, I was looking specifically. I was like, I don't want any of the stuff that was inked by Stefano Giordano. I was like, I just want the raw pencils, and like that was like where I found like that what I was looking for.
Nice, yeah.
The two things, I have a big portfolio that this contains mostly prints and like Mondo posters and stuff. But this is by Zoe Lequay. Okay, Cycle, help me pronounce her name. Zoe Lequay. She's Italian. And this was the cover to oh wait, no, I still have it open because I haven't bought the original yet. Here it is. Yeah, Eat Bang Kill Tour #1, Zoe Lequay. I still have to buy the original of this, and that's let me highlight myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got to put yourself big on that one.
And she did a little note, thank you so much, which I liked. And so this is there. That's good. Yeah.
Nice. What medium is that? Like how is
that?
Do we know
good question.
I mean, it's beautiful. I'm just curious, like what. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot. Not that I mean, it's tough once you get into like color stuff, because it's like a mix of, it could be pencils, could be watercolors, could be, yeah.
I don't know. It's got a lot going on in it.
Yeah. I love when you can like layer colors, and I love that. And there's a lot of times where I have no idea. I'm not coming from a point of like expertise. I am just naturally curious if you knew. That's all.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. There is some paint. There's some bleed through, so I know there's some painting going on.
Yeah, so maybe like watercolor, or there's like those what are they, Copic markers that they have like watercolor. Like
that sounds familiar. Yeah, Copic markers. Yeah.
Copic. I don't know how it's pronounced, but
every time you show that, I love Ivy's hands so much. I think she just did such a beautiful job with those, and specifically like the color, the shadowing, like as it's going in, like rendering her knuckle. Like every time I look, like her perfectly like pointed nails.
Yeah, and I love her hair.
Yeah, she hit the texture on both Ivy and Harley's like so well, and like the
Yeah.
expression that Harley has on her face, and like the little look over from Ivy, like yeah.
Yeah, I really like this piece. And then the other thing I got a long time ago, probably 2016, 2017, there was an artist, 2015. There was an artist back when we had that Facebook collectors group that Riley started, which is where I got the name Omnidog and everything else. There was an artist, Ricardo Drummond, and he was from Europe, and he put up some of his stuff, and he put this up, a picture of Elektra.
Ooh.
And I thought, that is awesome.
Yeah.
And
It's almost like a David Mack kind of look to it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It has that vibe. Yeah.
yeah,
Sure.
and so it's an original, and
Yeah.
it was $250, and I said,
Yeah.
I have $250.
I can do that. Yeah.
Original piece of Elektra, who I love. This is great, and he's done some other comic books and things, and I think that's I have some early what's his name? He's really popular now. Let me think of what he's sort of cheesecakey, which doesn't surprise any of my viewers.
Frank Cho?
No, I don't have any originals of his. Let's see where are those? They may be in the other room. Oh man, I have a lot of boss stuff in this portfolio. I really should do a video on it.
Yeah, you should like do a show talking about like some original art or whatever. You know.
Yeah, you should invite like 2 other guys who also like original art on to like come and like talk about it.
Like looking at art, you know, like you should totally do that. Put it on the schedule.
They were colored drawings. I can't think of his name right now. He's a cover artist, and he had commissions open. This was back in like 2020, 2021, probably 2021. And so he drew a Harley for me, and then
David Nakayama, Nathan Zerdy.
I have a page open of Unknown Comics is selling original art from both of those two guys, like $7,000. I was like, oh gosh, I love David Nakayama, but not $7,000 as much.
Yeah.
Next to my
I can't think of his name.
right cheesecake artist with Jim
Yeah.
Allen right there. Yeah, it may not be the one you're talking about, but if you're talking about cheesecake artists, Next Imagine knows what's up.
Did he say
Jim Ballant.
Oh, Jim Ballant, yeah, with his Catwoman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that purple bodysuit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a costume. It's just coloring the
right. Yeah.
here.
Yeah. When you have like an original of those, it's just like that's naked Catwoman. You know, like
yeah. If I was starting, collect the original all over again, I'd tell myself to start and stay with commissions and figure out how to modulate my desire. You can control the cost of commissions easier.
it's true. Yeah. I that's how I started out, and then I realized that some of the cost of the commissions that I was buying, I was actually spending around the same of what it potentially could be to buy an original. So then I kind of veered into some more original. But actually, that's not entirely true, because when I say I started out buying commissions, the first piece of I'm fairly certain the first piece of original art I bought was that $1,000 page from Greg Capullo, and that was before I did the commission from Dan Jurgens. So it was seeing Capullo write on Twitter that he was going to have a website where he would sell his originals. That was a light bulb moment for me. Like, oh, you can do that. And then that was in the spring of 2016, and then that fall, Dan Jurgens was announced in Baltimore. So I was like, oh well, if they sell original pages, like, and then by then I knew that artists would do stuff at shows, and that's when I jumped on Dan Jurgens' commission list. And then I do have that here. The first commission I ever had done was, and this is fun too, because we talk about like process stuff. But it was a pencil piece from a Doomsday convention
wow.
sketch, an 11 by 14 board. And what I love about this is, so when you get a sketch at a con, typically they do them, they do them right there at the table, or they go back to their room and kind of finish them at night. But so Dan did this right at the table. Went to the show, and I arranged it with him, and he said, "Yeah, stop by the table." We exchanged some money, and then he spent like an hour or so drawing this piece. And I love it. I love Doomsday, of course. But so once I had a pencil piece from Dan, I thought, okay, well, let me take it one step further and have his inker of the era that I love is Brett Breeding. So Brett inked a like a copy. So I scanned the pencils and sent it to Brett's art rep, and then he inked the copy. So I still have the original pencils.
Oh,
and then
great idea.
Yeah. And what's cool about this is it shows off the kind of collaboration between a penciler and an inker, and especially those that have worked together. It's you can have any artist ink any pencils, but you're going to get your money's worth if you go with an inker who is familiar with the penciler, because here what happened was, so if you look at Doomsday has this bony bit on his chest, right? So when Dan drew it from memory at the show, he didn't put that on there. But then when Brett inked it, he was like, well, actually that should be on there. So he fixed it. And it's a great way to show the collaborative nature of a creative pair. So Brett knew like instinctively, okay, that should be there. And there were some things that if you look at, so on this piece, the ankle looks fine, but it's a little narrow for what it probably would be if it was finished. And then, but again, Brett having experience working on that, he kind of fixed it. He kind of made it a little more proportionate and added the width of the ankle there. But it's that kind of stuff which is really cool. And so a lot of times you think of the penciler and the inker, but then you leave out the colorist.
Oh, man. So cool.
Yeah. So Glenn Whitmore is the colorist who he colored like all of the Superman books in the 90s. So his work, because you had four distinctive artists working on the four different Superman stories that were all connected, his colors kind of unified all series, because like the John Bogdanov art is very different from Dan Jurgens, and the Butch Geist stuff was more realistic. So they all have different styles, but it was Glenn's colors that kind of had a consistent look to them, because it was kind of like the creative cohesive glue that made it help sell that it was all one big story. But yeah, so this is the art rep who reps Brett Breeding also reps Glenn Whitmore. So he copied the inks, and then Glenn hand colored a copy of that commission. So
that is amazing. To me, that is the coolest thing in your collection.
That was the first commission I did. It was the first goal that I had. I was like, I need something that shows the collaborative nature of what comics are all about, and you get the process of all three steps of the the creative process. So when I got this done, I was like, oh, that was really cool. That was a really cool goal. And then so I do that. So when I try to do commissions, I do try to, if I'm going to get something inked, I try to make it that to go with somebody who has they've worked together in the past, because I think you get a I don't want to alienate people, because inkers are all talented. I'm not going to diminish their talents, but I think there's something a little more special about reuniting creative duos when you can, and actually a trio there. And so yeah, it's just a lot of fun to kind of create that piece and that experience. I still would love to have. This is actually another side topic of when it comes to buying art. I would love to have this framed, like all three together. I mean, I got that in 2016, the pencils, and I think 2018 was when I had the inks and the color done. I need to get them framed, but the problem is, as an art collector, do I frame the stuff or do I keep buying art? Because framing is expensive, and then you think like, oh, I really need to get this framed, but then I'm like, well, it's a couple $100 to frame it properly with like the museum glass and I'm like, well, there's that page. I could spend that money on the art. So that happens a lot too. I'm so far behind and framing, it's embarrassing. But at the same time, I can still physically hold these, and I can kind of pull them out of the portfolio and appreciate them. The tactile feel of holding them and setting them up close is a benefit there too. So,
and we got to experience them that way.
Yeah, otherwise they'd be on a wall. I'm like,
Yeah.
sorry,
You'd have
no
wall
can do.
power, but not. I wouldn't have. My
Yeah.
audience couldn't appreciate it. That's awesome.
So.
That looks like watercolor. I think that was about mine. Very pretty Harili. It's not Copic markers. I can tell by the blending. Okay, Josh, let's see.
I defer to the artist.
Yeah, that Electra is awesome. Salt technique with that Electra. Everybody's trying to guess who the cheesecake artist was. Jim Ballant, Frank Cho, Adam Hughes. I can't afford any Adam Hughes. I got Adam Hughes prints, but I do not have anything original. Yeah, the Doomsdays were great. Both versions. You said it before the third version.
Yeah. But
okay, wait. Laura Martin does some amazing color finished. She's a pal. Gotta promote.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I should learn how to frame, because I would save some money that way probably, and have.
If you're offering, I've got some things that I need framed.
Like maybe I'll practice on your art, and then
don't worry, it's just storytelling pieces.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I personally I have to take it. We're dog sitting for friends, and I have to take her out before the storm comes. So, is there anything in particular you guys would like to show before we sign off? You guys have both been great guests. I'm so informative and so well spoken and so interesting that I think it's great. And I'd love to have you both on again. Is there anything that you have that you'd still like to show?
So I'm gonna make the pitch here. I can't be on an original art show with Carl without us talking about Jesse Lonergan. Jesse is an artist. Like, I feel like everyone kind of has like their artist that you like plant your flag in, and Jesse is a guy for both of us that like we kind of identified early on, especially Carl, where you talked about sort of as you're transitioning from trying to collect the pieces that you used to the stuff that you like now. I think like around that time, that's when you were finding Jesse, and Jesse's a guy I've loved since it came out with Hedra. His book Arca was one of my books of the year. Whatever year ago, I actually made that list.
I read that because of your video.
And he's going to be a guy who's at Heroes. He's one of the ones I'm most excited for, and just has one of the most unique art styles that's there. And so we've got I got some things that go that we attracted and or we're into for different reasons. So Carl, do you have it there, or do you need a second?
So I have the one thing that actually this started. I think Jesse, I think you've seen this one before. This is what I picked up in Baltimore. This is the Frankenstein commission.
Yeah, you showed that one in a bit, which that one is so cool.
So Jesse has this amazing vision of just playing with panels, and when you think of Hedra, whatever, I another one of those, like how to pronounce it, but it doesn't matter. It's all done on like a 35 panel grid layout, where it's all broken down. It's he breaks pages down to shapes, like geometry, and like his use of storytelling in small panels is wonderful. And as soon as I saw his style, and I was like, if I ever get a commission from him, I really love Frankenstein. I love the original Frankenstein film, and I think it's Frankenstein makes for a really great commission subject, because everyone has their own experience with Frankenstein, right? Like, so, and every artist has their own take on it, and it's just a good kind of it's a way to get a piece from an artist that's not Batman or that's not Superman. And so I just kind of threw this idea at Jesse, like, hey, if you could do like a Frankenstein with however many bits of story things in the background that involve Frankenstein, well, Frankenstein's monster, his origin, and he just killed it. Like, I mean, there's like the castle, the brain, the body parts, the tools used, the hand, the skeleton, the lightning that creates Frankenstein that's like cutting here all through the back. Like, it's just that's an amazing piece of art.
Really
that is he's amazing. And there's a go ahead.
Jesse has like very, very particular line work, which looks great. But like Carl was saying, like the thing that is so well is his vision of paneling and layout. And again, that commission that you have right there is just so perfect for show. Like, it tells the story of Frankenstein within just this one image.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, anybody gets a commission, they're like, oh, that's cover worthy. Like, it's like the biggest compliment you could give a commission is like, oh, that should be a cover. And but that one I definitely believe was like that would be an amazing, because it tells a story. It's not just a pinup. It's it's a beautiful pinup, but it there's storytelling involved, and you don't always get that in a single image character piece. So.
Well, you guys are welcome. I'm glad you guys in the chat all tuned in. Bunk, do you have something else you'd like to say? Do you have the Jesse you'd like to show?
So Jesse did one of my favorite books from last year, Man's Best. And
I got that because of you.
I spent so much time going through that book, going through every available page to try and figure out exactly which one I wanted. And ultimately, this was where I landed. Again, I think he does, Carl talked about the geometry that he like views in. The way that he frames this fight between the three animals that's been building up, you get the movement, but also just this tension that's shown with sort of the circular nature. Like, you can imagine them all kind of like circling around each other, but also like you feel tense just looking at that image. But it gets all three of them together. It's perfect. It's everything I want. And then because it's me, it also has to have that storytelling piece at the bottom, where you get that top where it imparts a feeling, and you get down, and then Lovey, who has been just this unredeemable jerk the whole time, that is just like, oh my, he's the wet blanket. He's getting on everyone's case. And you find out, you get down there.
Oh,
there he is,
poor Lovey,
at his home where he's living, and the family drives away.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
I know. That's why I love it.
Book now, how awful a person are you? I want to read that book.
And
how did it take you that long to find that page, Bunk? That's like the page for you.
Again, I because there were so many amazing other like great panel layouts. And
other
he sent it to me. There was this awesome print that he sent.
Beautiful.
Like, what
were you just showing, Carl?
I Man's Best. I love that series as well. And just another creative layout that Jesse did. This is like this giant cube that they think their owners are in, but then when you get closer to it, this is the dog throughout like has been making impulsive decisions, because dogs are known to do that, right? Like, dogs just chase whatever they know they shouldn't, but they can't help it. So she goes running towards this cube, and then as you get closer, you realize that it's all comprised of a bunch of individual robots. And then as she runs up, then they all break apart, and then they chase after her. So, but like every dog owner can relate to the stupid thing that a dog does. Like, why are you doing that? That is not in your best interest. So, so that was that spoke to me as a dog owner. So, but that Man's Best is one that I would recommend to anybody too. When I first read that, I had the flu, and that was a bad decision to read that while I was sick, because I was like, what the heck am I reading? It was like a fever dream, but it's beautiful. I've gone back and read it again and multiple times, and it's a beautiful book. So yeah.
Oh, Juice Dragons is thinking about doing art unboxings. That's great on YouTube.
Please do.
If you do, you've got your first subscriber. Put it if you decide to do that. If all three of us are accessible, like, if you have any questions about like, editing, or you're sort of like the way to display, or like things like, just please. It's
all
it's
editing
fun.
questions go to Bunk, not me. I don't do any editing.
I just started when I started doing. I knew nothing about video editing. I did everything, and I still do a lot of stuff in iMovie. So if you want to do it, I'd say don't worry about the production quality. Who cares?
That's the
Like
biggest,
just
yeah.
film it.
Especially
And you'll learn.
Right.
You'll learn as you go on.
Absolutely.
Like the biggest thing is just like your first one is never going to be your best one. And if you're waiting to like get at your best version, you're going to never put out a video. But it's just a really fun way to share what you love about things. And then, like Carl said, when he found my thing, it's just like you'll find other people that share in that same joy. And like that's again what I think is so cool about original art. Like putting it out there is like, hey, I love this thing here. I want to tell you why I do it. And people are like, oh, like thanks for doing that. Like I see this in a different way.
And that's I love, like, that's what you see. Like, I love seeing what you love about a piece or what Jess has. Like, that's anybody. Like, it's the stories that matter. So who cares if like there's like choppy editing or what? It doesn't matter. Like, tell me a story and I'm there. So yeah.
Jewish Dragons is an amazingly generous person. He's sent me 2 or 3 huge boxes of stuff that he has collected before for me specifically, gotten signed for me, things like that, because he hits a lot of comic shows all around. And I don't have much to offer you, Jewish Dragons. I don't edit, and I take my iPhone and make my movies, my videos that way. But I would be happy to help you because you have been remarkably generous to me. Any way that any of us could help you, I'm sure we would, and I definitely would help you, Jewish Dragons. You've been such a generous, kind person that I would 100% help you if I had anything to offer.
The other thing that I'm gonna say wisdom because that sounds like I have wisdom. But who cares about views? Like, I don't care about views. I would rather have a small amount of subscribers who are gonna like watch the video and engage and talk about it. So like, who gives a crap about the algorithm, and don't do it for that reason. Like, I'm not creating videos to like supplemental income. Like, that's not the goal. It's the goal is to like connect with people and talk about things and share, what I love about what I collect. And if it resonates with somebody, great. If it doesn't, cool, whatever.
Wait, Jewish Dragons, do you already have a YouTube, or?
Oh, I think James is just linking the profile that's tied. Like, there's no videos there. He's saying, unless he makes a new channel for the videos, but it's just going from there.
Okay. Yeah. And to Carl's point, that's exactly right. I early on, I was told by somebody that I don't hear from anymore, because I think I said, I put all this work into this and it only got like 300 views or whatever. And I should pick, and then I just, this was back in 2018 or something. I should pick blah, 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 that's more popular and do a review of that. And he said it was live, and in the chat, he said, don't pander to your audience. Don't do things for your audience. Do what, in other words, your passion and your love for the thing that you're talking about will come through and get you the people you really want. You want people to watch all 20 minutes of your videos or 30 minutes or whatever it is. And you want people to feel your passion and get excited like you're excited about whatever you're collecting. And so I 100% agree with you, Carl. That's the way to chasing subscriber counts is fun in the early days, but I don't care anymore because I've got this community of you saw a lot of them tonight in the chat, that they're all just nice people. They want to watch the videos and they want to have fun, and it's it's really letting your passion show through. So that's what you want.
Well said. Yeah, I agree.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think we all need to see your collection.
Yeah, and again, if you do go to Heroes, hit us up.
Yeah,
Because
I definitely want it. Yeah, there's only going to be about 500 of us from YouTube.
Yeah. You know, we'll be easy to find. You know, just along with everybody else there.
I mean,
And,
I wouldn't want to be the 501st person. I mean, that's like
Everybody-
that's too many people. That's
everybody
too many people.
go to subscribe to Carl's channel, and then every single video
Are you going to hear it?
hashtag get Carl to Heroes.
And Carl's and Bunk's channels are a link down below in the description box. Please go to their channels. Their passion definitely is shown through tonight. It did not get me excited enough to buy original art of my own, but it
You're
made
welcome.
Yeah, I was going to say that we've done we've done our part.
Yeah.
But I love your passion for what you guys love, and that is 100% what it's all about. So I definitely want to do this again soon.
I'm on board. Yeah, I love talking about this stuff. My wife and my kids don't care. So
Well, yeah, same. My upper management and junior management. Thank you, Matt. That's nice of you. Very nice of you to say that. Yeah, it's a good way to find your people.
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so check these guys out. They're wonderful. And thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate all of you that have managed to stay with us for 3.5 hours almost.
Whew.
Thank you guys for giving me this much of your time.
The wonderful thing is, it didn't feel like that at all. So
That's
great
great.
conversation. Had a lot of fun. So
Yeah,
thanks for having me on.
I really enjoyed listening to both of you. It was great.
I feel a whole lot more with it than I did when I did my 4-hour stream with Cliff. So I appreciate you guys keeping me here and grounded.
I
during
don't
that.
encourage drinking. It's fine if you want to do it, but I think with Cliff, it's probably going to be coffee and comics when I do his
I
show.
think that's safer for anyone who's going to be going there. So I appreciate you all giving me this experience.
Oh, Pity Mom wants me to go longer. Well, my anniversary's this coming week. Maybe I can do something for my anniversary. And there's Cliff on Comics YouTube. Thank you, James. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you to everybody for watching. I really appreciate you all. And here is the Baturdays theme to play us out. And thank you again to my great guests.
See ya.
Baturdays, Baturdays. Omnidog in the miniature of comics. Talk forever, get right your ergonomics. Taking questions from the chat. With a name like that, you think they talk more about the bat. Baturdays.